And we are live here for another Real News Quarantine. Back here, oh my god, it's been a wild week, but we're back here on the stream. The pandemic is still ravaging through the country, even though the deaths are going down. The cases, yes, are going up because there's lots of testing, but we're still battling the pandemic, and we're going to keep talking about it because that's what this election's all about. All comes back to coronavirus, if you like it or not. Even Chuck Schumer admitted, I mean, this is a small little news thing I'll mention real quick before we jump into Biden's new racist remark, but even Chuck Schumer admitted, you close the schools, you hurt the economy. I'll find that clip somewhere. That was pretty devastating. But Biden has a new blunder. See, I don't even know if you'd call it a gaffe or a blunder, because I think he actually, he knows what he's saying. It's just kind of slipped out. Sort of the mask kind of got pulled back a bit. But Biden basically said, in some interview he was doing, he said, unlike African Americans, Hispanics think diversely or something like that, or are diverse or something, he said. I mean, is he trying to keep the black vote home? After the "you ain't black" statement, now this, he needs the black vote to win. That is his only pathway to victory. He doesn't have a base. If he doesn't get the black vote, which is what he's been running on with the Obama nostalgia, with all the pandering he's done, it's all trying to bring out the black vote. Hillary lost because she didn't bring it out in Philadelphia, in Michigan, and a bunch of other states, among them many, many more variables. But if he brings out the black vote in Philly and Pittsburgh, he could win Pennsylvania. But he's not. Instead, he's demeaning them and making them want to stay home. I mean, this is, like I said, I am convinced maybe he doesn't want to win.
And imagine this. Imagine how many of the black vote is actually excited about him. Where's the enthusiasm? He doesn't even have it for the party. He's like 39% enthusiasm for him running. So imagine what percentage of that is black.
Yeah. Well, and speak of enthusiasm, I am going to pull up the most important news story that nobody's talking about, the most important article that nobody's sharing around, and it baffles me as to why. Oh God, it was one of those things that actually I got told about it at work, and it was just shocking when I heard it. I almost didn't believe it, and I read into it a little more. And there's some nuance here, but it's cut and dry. The headline is not even misleading. From Politico, Trump's campaign knocks on 1 million doors a week. Biden's knocks on zero. Zero.
That's insane. Zero?
I can't emphasize how much that difference is. Zero. And it's
You know,
baffling.
I think they're depending on text messaging. I got a text message today from a Democrat. I haven't got one from the GOP yet, but I got a text message from Democrats today.
Well, you're 100% right.
Um,
They are relying on that. I mean, when I dive deeper into this article, they claim, and I'm going to give my sort of take on what their claims are. They claim because of the coronavirus, they want to stay safe, and they don't want to go out door knocking, and people don't want to come to doors and talk to people. Instead, they're just going to go to doors, drop off literature, leave, and just focus mainly on phone calls, phone banking, and text. Now, the first part's total bullshit. People want to answer their doors. You want to know why I know people answer their doors? It's not even because I'm doing it. It's because people pick up packages from the delivery guy at the door. People pick up Uber Eats at the door. People pick up DoorDash at the door. People go and get their mail. Okay, and also, people have been cooped up so long, they want to talk to people. They want to talk to anyone. I don't care if it's a stranger, a canvasser, or the mailman. They want to talk to somebody. And
Absolutely. And you're right. And I'll tell you this, we get a bad rap for being the racist party, right? But I knocked on doors today with two people who are Mexican and they people who are conservative. We knocked on Republican doors. They answered the door. They talked to us. I was offered water multiple times, and even they even gave me a souvenir. So like they wanted to
Nice.
talk. Like I could sit there and talk for them for a long time, and they really want to talk about this because they've been cooped up and we're being separated from each other, and we need to talk to each other. And then they're like, "Oh my gosh, someone's here to talk about what I want to talk about," and they want to talk.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
the
had people
Democrats.
too.
I think the Democrats are making the same mistake that they did in 2016 because they like the Trump campaign this year, like 2016, had a very committed ground game,
Mhm.
and ground game is crucial in a political election cycle because that's where you get all your numbers, that's where you get all your accurate numbers, like most polls we found out over the last 4 years are grossly inaccurate, but the ground game is where you really find that true honest feel the what of what's going on.
Yep.
And
100%.
Hillary didn't do it in 2016, and I think she got burned for it. And I don't think Biden's doing it either. So I
Well, they
And
did
they
have a
both got
ground game
really
in
good.
16, but it was just low energy.
it
There
was
was no
yeah,
enthusiasm.
yeah.
And that's the thing I want to point out here. The big takeaway from this, it's not just that Biden's campaign doesn't have a ground game. It's Biden doesn't have enthusiasm because they're making up excuses here. That's what this sounds like to me. Because look, and Donnie can attest to this because she did it too. In Pennsylvania, which is a more, 50-50 purple kind of state, I knocked on Democrat doors, Republican doors. I've done over 1,000. Over 1,000. I checked my stats, say over 1,000. Everybody answered it that was there, except for some people that just don't like answering their doors. But it's not like people are afraid to answer. No, they're answering it, but they'll just have like the storm door there. They'll talk with the storm door closed, or they'll talk with um the um the screen up, or they'll crack it open a little bit. Some will even come out. Some start getting close to me, and I'm like, oh shit, back up. But like, this is total bullshit. Nobody is afraid to answer their door. They just don't have enthusiasm, so they don't have volunteers, so they don't have a ground game. And like Phil perfectly said, these are your ears on the ground. This is what gives you a feel for like what really is it like out there. What do people really think? And it also gets out the vote, of course, and lets you know who's on the fence, who's unsure, why they're unsure. It's just, I couldn't believe they knocked on 0 doors in August. August 8th, we're recording or streaming this, and they've done none? Are you kidding me? I mean, do they want to lose?
I just well, I mean, there's like you said, there doesn't seem to be an energy for Joe Biden. Like it feels like a lot of these voter supporters that they have aren't really supporting Biden. They're just like not wanting to vote for Trump.
Yeah.
So it's yeah, I mean, and I don't necessarily think that's a winning strategy.
Nope. You need a base. I think
Yeah.
you mentioned this too, like last time. They don't have a base. Who is Biden's base? Like, other than your typical Democrat that always votes Democrat, like, that's not. You need a base to have energy, to have volunteers. Why do you think Trump does Trump rallies? It's
Hey,
not just.
Joe Biden has a lot of voters, okay?
They're
Look at the
dead.
graveyards, man. Tons of voters out there.
And
And
check this out
dogs.
too, guys. Like the when I told you I was door knocking earlier, I said they're Mexican. One of them is running for House Senate, right, and for the Irving district. And he has bipartisan support, guys, in Irving, Texas.
Wow.
In Irving, Texas is a high population of Hispanics. He's Hispanic, and he has bipartisan support. Like he has Democrats and he has Republicans. So the Democrats said that they're so tired of what's going on. They're still under being Democrats, but I think it's not his words, but I think it's because they want to send a message to the party.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, And it's interesting, so I'm going to bring up another local campaign in a few minutes, but that's the thing too, is like I've noticed there are enough people, they're hard to find, they might be a little bit silent, but there are people that voted Democrat a long time, not anymore. There are people that voted for Obama, now voting for Trump. There was a guy that came to the office the other day, lifelong Democrat, JFK Democrat, voted for JFK, I think, for his first election. Trump was the first Republican he ever voted for. And it's simply because of the populist nationalist message he has. Look, the action we saw today is peak Trump populism. He signs an executive order extending, I think, unemployment benefits by like $400, and also doing student loan forgiveness, a bunch of other things. This stuff, he bypassed both parties. I think Cernovich said something along those lines today. He bypassed the Democrats and the Republicans to do something for the people. That is what he's all about. And that sort of action, not only do people feel it and do they like it, but this is the kind of stuff that helps you get reelected. Like, this is the action that when I see it, I go, good. This is what we need. This is how you win. It's just beautiful. Just perfect.
Well, I think Trump is also starting to get those people that are flocking to him because the left has gone too far left, like way left. Because I mean, look, you look at you even like because that guy sounded like a reasonable person. Like you said, he voted for, he voted for JFK, but like the left has gone so far left. You look at JFK, right? He was, pro-gun, he was pro-military, by today's standards, JFK would have been a Republican. But if you look at what he stood for,
moderate Republican.
Right.
Most definitely.
So
that's probably why he was murdered.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy just how, I mean, even you can start looking at the right too. Like, just overall, I think this is what Alex was talking about a while back, was how the Overton window, with the range of accepted ideas and what's considered modern extreme, is just totally shifted. And I expect it to shift, but like, defunding the police is like, it's just, I don't want to say it's not surprising anymore, but like to some degree it's not. I mean, when I first heard, I'm like, what? And then now I think about it, I'm like, oh, they just wanted to fund the police now? Oh, okay. It's like, well, what's next? Like, that is, I don't want to say that's mainstream because it really isn't, but there's enough people that want to defund the police in America. Okay, that's what we've gotten to. That's our extreme position. Like, years ago, an extreme position would be like, hey, I'm not cool with gay marriage. Hey, I think we should have religion in the classroom. Hey, I think we should maybe have like Medicare for all, like universal health care, That was considered like extreme in 2016, or even like a little bit before that, got a little moderate. But now defunding the police is what's extreme. It's like, Jesus.
Like, something is crazy? This is backfiring. Because if you watch these interviews that aren't publicized everywhere, there's black people saying, no, what the heck are you talking about? Why would you do this?
Yeah.
Because we need protection. Why would you want to defund the police? Why would you not want to protect us?
Yeah.
Like, it's not okay. Their businesses, their homes, everything they've worked for, people overall are not okay with it at all. Are there things that the police can fix? Sure. But it has nothing to do with racism. Honestly, I think most of it is, well, they shouldn't have bonuses for pulling more people over. There should be bonuses for watching you and on the side of the road and watching your speed. And I don't feel like there should be bonuses for that. But like, I think you're focusing on the wrong things to work on.
Yeah, well, that's the thing too, is that we can have like criticisms of the police, and we all do, but it's like the cop, I see cop hatred now more than ever before, and it's gonna backfire, like you said, because like having cops is like, we take it for granted. It's like so normal. It's basic safety. You take away people's basic safety and they're scared, and then you try to take away their guns by suing the NRA or that's a little misleading, but you know, like going after like the Florida couple, or not Florida, St. Louis, the like Vice City, you know, Scarface like couple. You're going after people's right to protect themselves, and then you're going after the NRA now. You're suing the NRA. They're doing everything to prevent Americans from protecting themselves. Like, because look, yeah, does the NRA sell guns? No. Fun fact. But do they help people protect themselves and learn gun safety and, you know, help gun owners? Of course. And that is what all this is doing. And it doesn't take much to connect the dots here. And people are going to look at that and be like, so they want to get rid of the police, they want to get rid of my guns, and they want to get rid of people that help me with my guns, and they want to get rid of my ability to protect myself with guns. So how do I protect myself?
And they want to put prisoners back out on the streets.
Yeah. It's like, I mean,
Right.
this is a godsend to Trump,
Why
but
can't
like,
people
it's stupid.
Right. Why can't people see that's what they're doing?
Well, because it's not defunding the police, it's reimagining. You notice that's the phrase they're throwing around now? You gotta always look at the language. They now are talking about reimagining the police. It sounds so nice and like thoughtful, but when you dive into what it really is, you know, I mean, and the beauty of that phrase for them is that anybody can kind of fill in the blank there, what reimagining is to them. It can be defunding, reforming, abolishing, whatever. But like in the chat here, Ebony Perkins says Biden is repeating what he heard other people say or what other people are telling him. There's no heart or honesty behind him, and that's the truth. Is that you have these radicals like on the debate stage when they were all like, "Hey, should illegal immigrants get health care?" Everybody's hand goes up, and Biden like looks to his left, looks to his right, and is like, puts his hand up, and
Like,
that's
okay, raise his hand.
yeah, and that's what he's doing with the cop shit. He's like, oh, defund the police? Yeah, I want to reappropriate funds.
Did you guys see the hearing with the guy with the not? She's not a guy. It's a woman from Hawaii. She's a representative from Hawaii. I don't remember her name, but like she was saying, no one's seriously thinking about defunding the police.
What?
It's just, she was like, I don't take it seriously. This is a freedom of speech kind of thing here. I posted it, but like she said that when she was talking to Ted Cruz, and then she tried to make it seem like Ted Cruz was against freedom.
That's Mazie Hirono.
Yes, that's who that lady is.
She's an
terrible
awful person.
Awful.
She was one of those ones that was super vocal during the Kavanaugh hearings.
Oh
She's
boy.
Like, just shut your lips and listen. These women are supposed to be believed. And I'm like, what?
And there were lawmakers posting on Twitter the hashtag defund the police. There were lawmakers in the House who were saying this. So it wasn't just like Black Lives Matters were the only ones saying it. It was people who were elected were saying defund the police.
Yeah, I mean, well, you got a lot of money going in. You got a lot of money going into the Democratic Party, and you got a lot of money going into the the Black Lives Matter and Antifa, and a lot of them are coming from the same sources. So it's pretty much, do what the monopoly man tells you. And that's pretty much what it is. I mean, I like defunding the police is a ridiculous idea, but there's people that are, they're just continuing to push this narrative. And I don't know.
Well, one thing too, I'm diving into this Politico article a bit more about the door knocking of the campaigns, and this quote is laughable from Biden's National States Director, Jen. They say, quote, "At first I was nervous, but our response rate on phone calls and text messages are higher, and people are not necessarily wanting someone to go up to their door right now. You get to throw a lot of the rule book out the window and try out new things." Okay, first of all, phone calls are nothing new. Those have been done since phones were created. Text is the only thing new on here. And yes, those are effective. And I know, have had high return rates on those. But like, No, you don't get to throw out the rule book like with this sort of stuff. I mean, and they talk about it right here because this is, I guess, public knowledge that the Trump campaign has its volunteers or its staffers read groundbreakers how Obama's 2.2 million volunteers transformed campaign in America. Like the Trump campaign is using Obama, a winner's playbook. Okay? And the Democrats aren't even using the playbook of the last guy they had that won. Let that sink in. I mean, Jesus.
And
And
that's funny you brought that up because Daryl Scott did a interview with OAN,
mm,
and they're talking about that and how Biden has said all these things, and then he's also talking about how I guess he seems in a way redeeming himself by trying to get a black VP. So he was VP under a black person. Now he's want a VP that's black. That's,
oh, let's talk about that real quick. Who?
yeah.
I mean, I'll ask you guys for your guesses, but who is going to be the VP now? Because I had been saying for the longest time it was going to be Kamala Harris, but post Black Lives Matter, post George Floyd, post calls for to defund the police, I think Kamala can't be the pick because she's the epitome of judicial and police corruption. I think
Yeah.
Susan Rice is now going to be the VP pick because one, Kamala Harris technically isn't quote unquote an African American.
No, she's Indian American.
Yeah, she's a mix.
She's a blackface candidate.
Yeah, Trudeau could use her, and so could Ralph Northam. But
Right?
Susan Rice though, is black, so she has that checked off. And secondly, she doesn't have any of this cop sort of baggage and this judicial baggage. I think Susan Rice is going to be it now. I wouldn't be surprised if he picks Kamala because Democrats are doing a lot of dumb moves now, but I hope they pick Kamala because that would be a disaster. But I'm starting to think if they're smart, they'll pick Susan Rice now. But if they're not, they will pick Kamala Harris. But I think it's down to those two. Those are the only two options on the board
I
now.
don't think either of them.
I
don't
think it's going
either
to
of
be
them are
Kamala Harris. She worked on Obama's campaign.
That's true.
It's a link.
Well, and he had notes with her name on it and like talking points that she created a few weeks ago. So I think I think they're actually confused. They might even not have a decision yet. They might be like just confused and they don't know what to do. But it has to be a black woman. We all know that.
Maybe Michael Obama.
Well, I said woman. Remember?
I'm sorry. I meant Michelle.
Oh, Michelle. No, she has a podcast on Spotify. She's very busy right now.
So busy.
Everybody's got a podcast, even us. We were doing it before everybody had one. We were doing it like for what, 4 years now, 3 years. But like, I mean, yeah, she has a Spotify exclusive podcast, and Rogan starts his next month on Spotify. But let's see here. The Trump campaign has 1,500 full-time staffers across 23 states. Biden campaign is just got 600 by the end of June, but they will have 2,000 by the end of August. Okay, they're getting somewhere now. The decision to forego door knocking is part of a larger gamble that voters will give Biden credit for taking the coronavirus more seriously than Trump. That's the dumbest statement I've ever heard. Just because you're not door knocking doesn't mean you're going to take it more seriously. And that's not the message that's going to get sent. Nobody's going to get a message if you don't door knock. Oh my God. The campaign's Philadelphia headquarters is mostly empty, and many new hires are working remotely. Holy shit. Oh my God. How in the world is this campaign going to even come close to winning now? Wow.
Yeah, and I thought about something earlier today. I was thinking about like how they're pushing the whole mail-in voting, and Democrats are pushing that. And if you think about this, why would you listen to Democrats when it has to do with anything operational when it comes to voting? You see how much they failed in Iowa, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Republicans, just okay. The Democrats, nope. Took them how many days?
Yeah. Well, and the thing too is like they need to turn out votes in Philly. Like that is their the closest thing to a base is right there. It's high African American, it's highly Democrat. Boom, that's what you want to turn out right there. And they're not even setting up. They don't have people there. Like you can't work remotely in a campaign. Like what in the world? I mean this is good, but like I'm just shocked. This is so bad.
This is a work from home
Yeah, how do you work
campaign.
from home? Because, like, with the mail-in ballots, like you mentioned, like, there are so many people that don't know how to apply for one or where to apply for it. And that's obviously what they want to do to turn out votes, but you're not going to do it with this. I mean, Jesus, this is bad. And that's what makes me look at these polls that Biden way ahead, but the gap is narrowing supposedly now. There's no way he's that far ahead. I mean, maybe there's a lot of undecideds, which I think there are, and there are. A lot of people that vote for, there's a chunk of people that vote for Trump the first time. They're kind of like, I don't like his style, I don't like his tweets, and so they're kind of iffy right now. But like, oh
Even
my
if the
God.
Democrats, even if the Democrats cheat again, I think Trump will still win.
Yeah.
I think it's been like it's already even if people don't like Trump, I don't think people want to admit they like him now. And they're another piece of the silent majority. I
Mm-hmm.
think there's people who actually like him and don't want to admit they like him.
Dude,
I,
so many people
I
like that.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I look into like the commentary on like hip hop stuff, and I'm looking at the comment sections because normally we bring up Trump, right? And they were kind of talking about Biden in this video, and the comment section was saying Biden is out of his mind, Biden is racist. That was like 85% of the comments, and the rest of the other ones maybe were like Trump 2020, and there were some haters, but like this is a black audience, and like if you don't want a silent majority, think about the black silent majority.
Mm-hmm.
They may not be Democrats. I'm sorry, they may not be Republicans, but they may vote for Trump or may not vote at all because they don't like Biden.
Well, that's the thing, and that's the problem with when you have no enthusiasm, you have people that stay home. When you don't have a ground game getting out the vote, people stay home. When you don't have people showing people how to register to vote and how to do mail-ins now, people are going to stay home. I mean, the thing too with this election is like we're gonna have like Florida with Bush v. Gore is gonna be every fucking like battleground state. These results aren't gonna be in for like weeks. You know you're gonna have cases where ballots are getting thrown out, mail-ins are getting thrown out, people are getting accused of this and that. It is just gonna be a total mess. Nobody's gonna believe the results. That's the sad part. Is like you want to talk. They talk about how Trump undermines, our electoral process and all bullshit. This sort of stuff, these mail-ins are gonna undermine because there's a lot of, in PA where we actually have it pretty well thought out, thanks to our Republicans in legislature. But states like California, we have ballot harvesting. States that are Democrat controlled, like Michigan, with freaking Whitmer, are gonna be a mess. But PA, it'll still probably be a mess, but won't be as bad of a mess. And there are precautions put in place. Like, I think in some states, they just send you mail-in ballots. In PA, you have to apply for one, and then you get sent the
Mm.
ballot.
Did you see the people on the left don't get hissy fit about Trump's pins, but they didn't have any kind of
The
negativity,
Gore
any
ones.
backfire towards Nancy Pelosi's pin stunt.
Oh, what was that?
They were complaining about Trump having the pins and giving them out to people. That was one of their complaints about his executive orders he signed.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess he gave those pins out.
Oh,
And
yeah.
yeah, and then the left is like crying about it. I'm like, you had no problem with Nancy Pelosi handing out golden pins that we paid for.
The joke is, what people don't get is, like, and this is what Dave Portnoy mentioned in his interview with Trump, is like, first of all, the president's tested probably like 20 times a day. They check his temperature all the time, and anybody that interacts with him has their temperature checked, and even gets coronavirus tested, like fast-tracked. I know somebody that was at like even a campaign event with some senators and whatnot and representatives like locally. They did, or no, it was with the shit. What am I saying? It was with the freaking vice president. They had you tested like right then and there, boom, like real quickly. You got your results like in a few hours. So, I mean, this stuff the media says just is so stupid. They're either lazy and stupid, or they're intentionally lying. Like, those are the only two options. But our chat's blowing up here, so I'm going to go through a little bit of it. Oh, man. God, you guys are blowing up the chat. Good job. We always love to engage. You know, it's great to see that. Let's see. Just sort of you talking back and forth. I agree. I think it's Susan Rice. Yep. Benghazi ain't going away. Nah, well, that's the thing, you know, if they pick Susan, they're gonna bring out that Benghazi nostalgia for the Trump base. You're like, yeah, she's the one that lied about it the whole time. So it was a viral video. I mean, Tucker was showing those clips the other night. So that's definitely some baggage for her, but I don't think it's gonna have the same stick as it did last time, because in 2016 Hillary was connected to that, but hey, it's still good nostalgia. Fight the Obama nostalgia. Kamal's a fake out. I guess that's one way to put it. Hi, Donnie. Glad I found your podcast. Fantastic. We got to make sure we link that below, too, because I have your Twitter, but I need to link your podcast in the description. And that's where Susan Rice will fail, so it could be Kamala. Nah, I don't know. I think Kamala's shortcomings are relevant, too relevant right now. Someone said that.
Think about this, though. Joe Biden has a lot of shortcomings, and he is the main pick. So the Democrats aren't that bright.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. It's like some of their behind-the-scenes operatives can be really smart, but they can also be like super dumb. Like if they're pushing this defund the police shit, that's dumb. But some stuff they do is really smart. Like Obama's campaign in 2008, very smart campaign, and it's proven successful. Someone said they'd go for an unknown, someone without political baggage. That would be an interesting play. But I don't think they'll do it. They're trying to play this whole election kind of safe in a way. Biden's kind of a safe pick. You know, I don't see them doing any risks unless they want to shake it up. But I don't know if they're playing that game. They seem to be playing like that they're ahead or that they want to lose. I think it's Rice because she's familiar to Biden and loyal. Kamala's a wild card and attacked Biden too much in the debates. Very good point, because Kamala did call him a racist. And Susan's kind of always been nice to everyone that can help her climb the ladder.
Yeah, and then, too, like, she brought up the whole busing issue, Biden as well.
Yeah, and the Republicans should attack him for that, honestly. You know, go after it. Paint Biden as a racist. I mean, that's the way to frame it.
You don't have to try too hard. He's doing it himself.
Yeah, exactly. Like, remember that one comment he made where he was like, poor kids are just as smart as white kids or something like that. I was like,
yep, I remember very clearly. And then he understands roaches, you know? Because black people understand roaches.
Oh my god. Remember Hillary's like hot sauce thing?
Yes.
That's kind of reminds me of.
It ticked me off. I'm like, this hoe is racist. Like, why is Breakfast Club not calling her out for this? You notice she rushed on. You notice that she rushed them off their interview as well, and so did Biden. They do not take black people seriously. Why are they rushing them off interviews? If you want their vote so bad, why are you rushing them off interviews?
Well, it's like, but Biden's statement about let me see if I can find it. Unlike
Alex, what's up?
Hey, what's up?
Hey, Alex, how you doing?
Hey, Alex.
Doing all right. What's been going around?
Well, we were just talking about pretty much the 2020 race because I mentioned the article that I've been like screaming about with million door knocks from Trump, none from Biden camp. And I was reading in the article something I missed before. Apparently, their Philadelphia HQ for the Biden campaign is empty. They're all working from home. I mean,
Oh,
are they trying to lose? And
yeah.
for the well, we were mentioning like Biden's statement about he's saying that the Latino community is diverse, unlike the African American community. That is sort of the mask slipping. That's showing you what he really, how these Democrats and frankly politicians in general, how they view people. They think they're stupid, and they think they vote in monoliths. Well, and that's what he's displaying here. He thinks, oh, he doesn't care about the black vote. He just goes, they're gonna vote for me because I'm a Democrat. They just vote for me. You know, that's how he looks at it.
And
And
Alex, I even said too, like I completely understand why he says that because he says if you don't vote for him, you ain't black. So there can't be any diversity there, right?
mm-hmm.
No diversity of thought. Nothing else. That's all he cares about is just who's going to vote for him. You know, he'll try to go and like he's talking to the Hispanic community. He's trying to do the same thing to them that he's done to the black community. You know, it's pretty disgusting. Not just him, but the whole Democrat Party. Trying to
Right.
get
And then he even faked that he had like he actually was involved in the civil rights movement and had to come back and retract it. And he's forgotten that he did that, and he's still spilling some of the same lies.
Yeah, like he's done what was it, the crime bill? He's called like racial integration. That's like a racial jungle. Like he said some very, you know, just disturbing stuff, and I've never really heard him explain that. Like he's worked with ex-Klansmen or you know what's
Mm-hmm.
Robert Byrd. He spoke at his funeral. Bring
yeah
back those
Yeah.
bird memes. Do you remember that from 16?
yeah I remember that. That's just
Yeah.
awesome.
And they're trying to say they weren't real pictures. Yeah, nice try.
Yeah, and the other thing too is that we were talking also about the VP pick, and I don't know what you think, Alex, but my money initially was on Kamala until Black Lives Matter called to defund the police. I don't think she can be the VP now. I think it's that's why they're looking at Susan Rice. And I think that's who it's gonna be.
Yeah, I think that's who it's going to be now because enough people within his own campaign, you know, gave some feedback about Kamala Harris because you know she basically called him a racist, and I understand that, but yeah, he's just picking someone to help him with the black community because he is like every time he speaks, he says something worse.
And now also Susan Rice also just sold all of her Netflix shares before Biden is going to announce his running mate. I think it's
Yeah.
good.
I think it's a good chance.
But what about Elizabeth Warren? You know, Pocahontas.
Well, she is a person of color, so she can definitely
Right?
qualify.
She claims. Yeah. You can't sell her out because think of this, like she's like the female Bernie in his eyes, and and she still has all her money. And you know, when you look at Black Lives Matters, and then the Act Blue, who has all this money, she has all this money already, and she's a woman of color.
Oh, did you see Bernie Sanders was trying to get the billionaires to pay a one-time wealth tax?
What?
Yeah, it was a couple days he was proposing that like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos pay like a one-time wealth tax in the billions.
Oh, Elon was fighting with him on Twitter about it, apparently.
Yeah, that's why Elon was giving him shit.
Oh my god, Papa Elon just delivers on Twitter. There was an article that says Bernie Sanders wants Elon Musk to pay one-time $27.5 billion. Whoa, that's a B, billion tax. And so Elon responds with a meme that says, official Bernie Sanders drinking game. Every time the Burnster mentions a free government program, chug somebody else's beer. And then Bernie says, every time Elon Musk pokes fun at government assistance for the 99%, remember that he would be worth nothing without $5 billion in corporate welfare. Oh, Elon, just LOVES corporate socialism for herself, rugged capitalism for everybody else. That sounds like a staffer wrote that shit. And he replied with, like, I think the same meme. Oh my god. Is it, look, Elon Musk is going, is it me or is he going more and more and more to the right, like further right wing?
I think he's been talking to. That might be a big reason.
What was that? Can't quite hear you there.
I think he's been talking to Kanye West a lot.
Yeah, there was that picture he posted with Kanye. Oh man, it's funny.
Kanye, they were trending a tweet hashtag calling him a fraud and saying that he got fake signatures, and I'm like, the left would say that, so the left saying it, I know it's not true.
Yep. Kasich and Sanders to join forces for a night of unity at Democrat convention. Oh, get out of here with that. JohnKasich is probably the biggest rhino ever. Like, he's speaking at the freaking DNC. But I'm a Republican, guys. I'm just moderate. Oh, I'm JohnKasich. What a piece of crap.
He's the new Jeff Flake.
Yeah.
Who is that?
Who's who?
Jeff Flake?
Oh, Jeff Flake. He was the
Cuck.
Was he a senator from Arizona?
Yeah, he was something like that.
He was supposedly a Republican, but he talked shit about Trump right before he got voted out.
Yeah, he talked shit, and I think, did he not vote for Kavanaugh, or was he like, that was when he really was like being super cocky, was when the Kavanaugh thing was going down.
He was dragging his feet royally. I'm not sure if he did or not. I think he might have, but he did it on like the last minute. Like,
don't you hate these type of guys?
I wasn't sure, and he was just like, "Well, I'm not sure. I'm gonna take my time, and
Oh my god.
like,
it's like, grow up, fight for your man.
Fuck out of Arizona already, God.
Yeah. And this is I mean, he's always been a critic of Trump, too. Like, this hasn't stopped. I mean, the guy's always been, like, anti-Trump. And that's when you know, yeah, this guy sucks. And then he, like, I think did he resign? Or, like, choose not to run for his next race?
Well, he decided well, okay, so he said he ran, then decided he wasn't going to run once he realized he was losing. Like, that's kind of how it went. Like, he wasn't. He said he wasn't going to run again, but that wasn't really the honest truth. That was like he was running again. The polls had him behind, and he was like, well, screw it, I'm not running anymore.
Yeah, and that's the thing, it's like a mosh. They realize they're unpopular and nobody likes them, so they're like, oh, I'm just gonna go do other things now. Oh, I'm gonna explore other ventures. And I'm reading, like, and this is a common, like, talking point you get from these sort of people that, like, back these guys. They'll be like, yeah, well, but Jeff Flake voted in line with Trump's positions 84% of the time. He's mostly a Trump fighter. He mostly agrees with him. It's like, no. On the big stuff, when things matter, that's when he cucks and he votes with Democrats. And that's the thing, like, this whole, like, because I see that if, like, a mosh, people bring that up. It's like, oh, but he voted with Trump, like, this percentage of time. It's like, you do realize, like, the House and votes on shit every day, and most of it is bipartisan, actually. It's the big stuff that's in the media where they're cutting each other's throats over. But, like, there's so many, like, benign things that they all agree on. So, for you to say, like, oh, he voted in line with Trump 84% of the time, is such a misleading thing, because a lot of people do, you know. But it's like it's the big things that count. It's like in a relationship. It's like, yeah, you may be good with 80% of things, but it's like that, or 90% of things, let's say, but it's that 10% that like kills the deal. It's like, yeah, she's smart, she's good looking, but she's also a meth addict. But hey, she's mostly good.
Right. You know, someone brought up Romney in the comment section, and I was just thinking about him.
Oh
As he was
God.
marching out there with the Black Lives Matter people, and I'm thinking, you know what Black Lives Matter is, sir, and you're out there walking and doing it. You're a Democrat. Just say you're a Democrat. You gave the election away to Obama. You are out there marching with Black Lives Matter for clout. You're a freaking Democrat. Take his R. Take it away. He doesn't deserve it.
Yeah. He's simply an opportunist and a guy that, like, I guess wants power, wants relevancy. I mean, I don't know what goes on to that guy's weird ass head. But thank you, Jamie, for the support. He says, love the podcast, guys. Promote it more on Twitter. I try. Head to bed. Keep up the awesome work. Thank you. We will definitely do that.
I'm trying to. It's like, why can't, you know what? We need more views than Biden, because that would be hilarious. Like, we need like 20 people in here supporting it and watching it, so we can laugh because Joe Biden had 16. So we just need 20 so we can make fun of him.
Yes, absolutely. And, you know, the name Flake should be a dead giveaway. Yes. Yes, it is.
Absolutely.
That's my favorite comment of the night. That's a good one. Yeah, it is a dead giveaway for sure. I mean,
Kevin for the win. Kevin for the win.
yeah, Kevin Pearson, shout out for like the comment that made me laugh the most this night. I mean, a lot of good comments, but like that one's a standout for sure. But wow, yeah. So, yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how the race shapes up and how these conventions go, or lack thereof conventions. But it's gonna be interesting, and especially with, I want to see what Kasich says. It's probably gonna be the most like, I just want to blow up. I mean, throw up, not blow up. But man, it's gonna be awful. What about the BLM organization, Romney supporting Marxism? Yeah, he does support Marxism. Yeah, that's very true.
Exactly. Thank you, Kevin.
And I got in some arguments with some quote-unquote libertarians on Facebook, like, oh, it's not Marxist. No, it fucking is. Like, do your homework and, you know, don't overthink it. Like, it's pretty simple. Sorry, what was that?
Because Mama Joe was supporting Black Lives Matter on her Twitter account. That's why they're saying it.
Yeah, Joe Jurgensen. Who now? Oh my God, we have a health update from Jurgensen. Did you guys see what happened to her?
No, what's up? Are you gonna show it on the screen? Show it on the screen.
Oh, I'm pulling it up. I'm not. Okay, look. Is it something you should laugh at? No, probably not. But because it's the Libertarian Party, it is uniquely hilarious. Oh God, she's retweeted her stupid bus like too many times afterwards. Did she pull it? Oh no, it's not. Oh God, these are cringe memes. Batwoman for POTUS. Oh God, they're embracing it a bit too much. So Joe Jurgensen posted some tweet last night, I think it was, that I found. Like I saw on Scott Adams' feed, because somebody's like 2020 couldn't get any like better or more hilarious. And long story short is, she got bit by a fucking bat with rabies. She got bit by a bat during this pandemic, where initially people were saying it was spread by like a fucking bat, which I still don't think is true. But are you kidding me? Like, only this would happen to libertarians.
How did she get bitten by a bat?
I have no clue.
Was she playing with it? Was she at the zoo? Like, how did this happen?
That's what's so weird. Here's the tweet. I pulled it up. She says, I will not be able to attend the campaign rally tomorrow morning. I will be getting a rabies vaccine. I guess she's not an anti-vaxxer now. As a precaution after having been bitten by a bat near the start of this campaign tour. I have every intention of participating in the Flame March. Is that some weed shit? And I will deliver remarks at the hashtag Let Her Speak rally in Hattiesburg. I mean,
That sounds like an excuse. Listen, that sounds like the worst. Like, teacher, my dog ate my homework excuse.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it sounds like, a fake excuse.
yeah, it's just hilarious. I mean, how do you get bitten by a bat? What was she doing?
I don't know, man. Some crazy stuff, those libertarians.
Have you got bitten by a bat ever, Alex?
No. I mean, if she got bit by a bat, like, was she playing with them? Like, did she have any reason for that? Like, unless, maybe she was out at night doing, God knows what.
Whatever libertarians do at night.
Maybe she was trying to eat one.
Wayne. I was searching for Bruce Wayne, so I was going in a bunch of caves. And then so the bat, I guess one of the bats just decided to bite me.
But Bruce Wayne's already in office.
Yeah, it's Trump. Oh, you remember that one clip during like 2016 where kid's on his like helicopter and he goes, "I'm Bat." He's like, "You're Batman," or like, and Trump goes, "I'm Batman."
Think about it. Trump is Batman. Think about it.
He is. He's kind of.
I've always loved Batman. Now it makes sense why I love Trump.
Yeah, he's a billionaire saving the world.
Exactly.
I mean, I actually made that analogy once in like a writing class. Like, I was like, yeah, Trump's kind of like Bruce Wayne. Like, he's rich, he gets the chicks, and he's got this larger than life persona. He's kind of like a superhero to his supporters.
Oh my god! And think about it too, with the blonde-haired chicks too. Like, Batman had a thing with the blonde-haired girls. Trump has the blonde-haired women who work with him. Think about it.
Yeah.
Trump is Batman.
Bet you got shitty grade on that assignment because of the teachers.
Well, that was the same teacher that read this like poem about like, it was like from the perspective of Michelle Obama when she met Melania, and it was like anti-Trump clearly. I was like rolling my eyes during the whole thing. Oh man, I kind of miss that, being able to like fuck with these professors. Kevin says this is funny. Dude, Kevin, you have the best comments, dude. He said about the Joe Jurgensen like bat bite. He said she was trying to create a new coronavirus. Is there any doubt Trump is strong, methodical, and knows exactly what he's doing? I mean, some people doubt him.
I'll say this: like today, I was watching his press conference as he was signing the executive orders.
I heard it was a good one.
It was. I mean, he laid out why he basically he went for like a good 20 minutes explaining why he was making these executive orders. It's because, and he started reading off some of the stuff that was on the proposed bill by Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, and it was just like a bunch of stuff that had nothing to fucking do with the budget or like nothing to do with like coronavirus or coronavirus relief. And it was like they just wanted to fund infrastructure for like mail-in voting and shit.
Oh my god.
It's like really retarded stuff, and so that's why he was like, yeah, so that's why I created, but that was smart of him, like to say what was in the bill, to tell everybody how dumb it really was before he finally said, hey, now this executive order is going to cover X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, it's a total win for him because he's always been this sort of like independent. Like, he's kind of like the first independent president we've ever had, and maybe the only. He isn't the Republican Party. He isn't the Democratic Party. He is his own breed, and he is the people's voice. And when you see him basically overriding both parties and for the people. That is just, I mean, it's just, that's the sort of stuff that just makes me happy and like more proud to be a supporter of him, because that is the stuff that you just don't see. Because we always get these bullshit bills with a bunch of shit put in that's like, like Democrats will always throw shit in like for abortions or Planned Parenthood or for taxes, or like they always throw some stupid thing in there that they know Republicans don't like and will veto because of that. And so that it gives Republicans a catch-22 of, you approve it and there's all this shit here funds abortions, or you disapprove it and then poor people don't get money or veterans don't get money. So like they do that deliberately and they lose every time because they play right into it. And Trump just went over all that and said, no, we're not going to do that. You guys aren't getting the job done. Nothing's happening. As Obama would say, I have my pen and I have my phone. And so he just goes and overrides the parties. It's fantastic.
You said pentastic?
Oh no, I hope I didn't say that.
That's actually cool though. Pentastic.
See, on Versa Media and Real News, we invent new words here. We have our own dictionary.
You're trendsetters.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
we are trendsetters. We're like the Beatles. We change like fashion. We are not followers. We are leaders. We are innovators. We're the iPhone of YouTube. But speaking of YouTube, Alex, you still on? I think he is. Oh, he left us again. Darn it. Wanted to talk about the Jake Paul stuff, so we'll have to leave in suspense for that because he knows a bit more about that than I do. But I'll touch on LOOMER. My favorite campaign other than Trump's that's happening right now. She had a fantastic week, because this is when you have to file your FCC report saying how much money you were raising, and LOOMER has hit the big $1 million mark. She has raised $1 million now on her campaign. Obviously, that's going to have to pay for a lot of expenses, but she has raised $1 million. That can't be understated.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is so awesome. Firecracker, where are you? That's your girl.
Yeah. Everybody keeps going out when I talk about their favorite subject, but
I know.
it's fantastic. I mean, I finally got her hat in the mail because when they, I donated the $50 to get the hat and the shirt, and the shirt came with a mask and with stickers and a card she signed. It was really cool, and I was like, this is awesome. But I didn't see my hat, and I guess they forgot to package it. So they sent another hat, and they have first of all, fantastic customer service, because not only did they fix the problem, but they sent me 2 more stickers and another card signed by LOOMER. I was like, that's a total win.
Dude, Trump's campaign did that too. Like, I ordered the hat and the jersey, and I ended up getting 2 hats. And it wasn't like part of the promo, but like the excitement that I got when I got 2 hats, not just one, like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's happened before. I know of somebody that actually, like, they got a signed version of the art of the deal, and they got 2 of them. I was like, even though they only wanted 1 or something. And actually, when I was in the office the other day, we got free shirts, hats,
Oh, nice.
lapels, and a button. So I got some new Trump gear, which was like, shit, it's like all over $100 right there. I mean, the hat's $25. Sure, I think it's like $30. The button's like $10. The lapel's probably like $10 or $15. So it's like close to $100, I guess. So yeah,
Nice.
it's cool stuff.
That's nice. Hey, here's something funny. I went on Twitter while we were talking. I put Trump is Batman. Within 6 minutes, we got 47 likes.
Nice.
Maybe people are thinking the same thing we are. Maybe.
You
should
gotta
listen
get
to
that
us more.
clip of him saying "I'm Batman" on the helicopter with that tweet. That'd be like a fantastic. That would go viral.
Please, yeah, send it to me or I'll find it myself. But like, that would be so dope. Now 48.
Yeah, like, oh, still climbing.
Still climbing. And it's all here. First Media News. Tell your friends to come here and check us out. Share the video. Like the video. We are the truth. We're real news.
Yeah. And everybody should subscribe to Donnie if you haven't, and follow her on Twitter at Donnie the Don. I think that's your handle, right? Donnie the Don.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
She's at
so
what now?
it's pretty much everything.
950 some subs now.
What was it?
You're at like 950 some subs now.
Shit.
Yeah, something like that.
Dude, once you cross
Yeah.
that 1,000 mark, like, oh, man. On Twitter, you have 32,000 followers.
Yeah, and then that built back up. Like, because yesterday I lost like over 600, the day before 100. Today I lost 200. So they're taking them left and right, too.
Well, and I looked into that a bit more because Sternfish was talking about that, and it sounds like everybody's accounts were getting, like, Twitter does this every now and then where they remove inactive accounts because they assume that they're bots or they're fake accounts or something. So everybody across the board was losing followers, like left, right, center, up, down, inside out. And, you know, that's the funny thing about Twitter is, like, when you see, like, these celebrities, like, let's say Katy Perry or Taylor Swift, that have millions of followers, like, the amount of people that are real on that follower count is, like, half or, like, a quarter. You know, these get inflated.
Because, you know, I made a joke. I was laughing at Oprah because she made a post one day and I saw she had less than 800 likes on her video post.
Mm-hmm.
And she had like a crazy, like over 50 million followers or something like that. Don't quote me on that, but it's like double-digit millions of followers. And you only have less than 800 likes on the video. You're paying for the followers.
Yeah.
You're Oprah.
Yeah, exactly.
I probably have better analytics than she does, and I'm not famous.
Yep. It's that's the big thing people forget.
Are you falling asleep with us? Wake up.
What's up?
What were you saying about falling asleep?
I heard someone yawning, and I said, "No falling asleep on us."
Yeah,
Wake up.
yeah, that was me. I love our show and we're high energy, but man, if I had a long day out in that heat,
What
it
did
just
you do all day? When you knocking on doors, trying to make sure America's safe? You're a hero. What are you talking about?
I mean, yeah, you were doing it too, and it's as you can. How long were you out there? I'm curious.
From around 10:30ish until 2.
Yeah, that was kind of around how I was. I was 11:30 to I think 4. Yeah, it was 11:30 to 4 basically. And
But this is my first time. You've been doing this. This is my first day.
Oh yeah, so you're gonna learn that's like the first few times it's fun, and you kind of like get into it, and you're like, yeah, I can do this. I can do this all day. And then you realize, no, I can't do this all day. It's tiring.
No, I cannot. It's hot. You can run into someone who really, you know, takes you off, and you don't want to like keep going, but you keep going anime.
Oh,
You
you gotta embrace those. I mean,
Yeah.
I've gotten like there was I had a really bad first door knock like a while like when I first was doing door knock in 2016. I've told the story before, but I might tell it again if a little later. But I had a really bad one in my first cycle door knocking, and that kind of
You should tell
spooked
us
me.
about it now.
Oh, but I gotta keep you in suspense. But yeah, I will tell it actually. But to wrap up my thought though, is that you know it comes to a point. I don't know if it's like the shit I've experienced with Turning Point and other things, but like I've become so numb to it, and maybe it's just because it's such a dead meme. But like, there's a point where like it wakes you up. That's all it does anymore. It just wakes you up. Doesn't scare you. It's just like, oh, okay, got one of those. I mean, I was lucky today that everybody disagreed with me and was friendly about, which is really unusual. Usually I get the people that are mean and nasty, or I get like in my first cycle, the guy that was absolutely batshit crazy. I want to answer some comments real quick and then I'll dive into the story. But
Wait, Sean, how do you spell your name?
you spell it Sean like Sean Connery.
Okay, thank you. Because I was answering someone's question about who's the host. That was Sam. And I was saying, no, Sean. And I was like, wait, hold up. I don't want to spell it wrong.
Wow, they think it's Sam. Okay. He actually has his own show he's streaming right now on the Whitfield Report, so you can look that up.
Yeah,
on
but stay
YouTube.
here.
Yes. Oh, I'm not leaving. Don't worry.
No, Kevin, stay here.
Oh, Kevin. Yeah, Kevin. You just dual stream it, Kevin. Like have like one on one screen, one on the other, like split screen it. You know. But let's see. Already. Do you know how many people Obama pardoned? And they tracked Trump for doing a few. Yeah, good point. My girl LL. Yes, firecracker. I'm watching this great show. Thank you. I like Donnie better than Loomer. Ooh, let's not pick favorites
Wait,
here.
who said that?
That was Kevin.
I love you, Kevin.
Kevin, okay, you had your good, funny comments, but you're playing, now he's playing
No,
it.
Sean. No, Sean. It might be a personality thing.
Oh,
It may not. I'm not running for office, so we're like different. We're in different lanes.
that's true. It could be.
Yeah.
And whoa, look what he says too. And I had the thought too. Kevin says, "Donnie, when are you running for Congress?" No, I'm not
Mute.
grabbing Red Bull, Kevin. That's what Phil does.
I don't know if I'll ever run yet, but like if I do run, I'm running big, like senator. So I need Ted Cruz get out of the way though.
I am the Senate. Sean, okay, he's got a good radio voice. Okay, that's the second time somebody said that to me this week. I was at the office and our executive director, who was like talking with me, he's like, randomly was like, "Hey Sean, you should start a podcast." I'm like, "Well, funny you mentioned that. I already have one with my good friends from Penn State." And he's like, "You have a really good like podcast voice." And I was like, "Oh, thank you."
You really do. You have a great voice for this.
I've always thought my voice sounded awful though. Like when I first heard it, it's like, "Hi, I'm Sean. Like this is my like stupid show in Penn State, like that nobody listens to." It's like, I wouldn't want to listen to me, but hey, if people want to, whatever. Phil's got a good voice too. 'Cause Phil's is like got some like.
You have a really good projector voice.
Oh, I like
you
to
would
project.
You would be the good Ben Stein of the Wonder Years.
What?
Yeah. For dry eyes, red eyes.
Oh, I remember those ads.
Yeah, that's Ben Stein.
Oh god.
But yeah, you've got a good podcast voice.
I'm looking at this dude, and he looks like the most boring man in the world. And he says, and the first video I see is Ben Stein, time for Trump to go. No.
No, I thought he was a Republican.
I guess not.
I thought Ben Stein.
Or he's a.
Who is that? Who is he? What's his relevance? I don't know who that is.
He had a
speechwriter for Nixon and Gerald Ford. And he's been in movies. Oh, yeah, that's right. He was in Ferris Bueller. I know this guy now.
Yeah.
I still know him.
He had a show on Comedy Central that was Win Ben Stein's Money, which featured Jimmy Kimmel before he went on the Man Show, and then
before the
did his own
blackface
show before he started bashing Trump daily.
Yep. Talk about like a decline of Jimmy Kimmel, my god, or like a total 180. Man Show, just the title alone tells you a lot. Fam Carolla, Man Show to Trump hater.
Yeah, most of them are so obsessed with him. That's all they talk about. If you go to their Twitter profiles, if you scroll on their feed, all they talk about is Trump. It's insane. Like they like eat, breathe, talk Trump, hate Trump all day, every day. Like it's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. Ben Stein on Trump is pretty much a lost cause. Also, Ben Stein, the Democratic Party is ideologically bankrupt. But then he says he will vote for Trump. Wait, what? What?
Is he bipolar?
Is he one of those like the?
He is. I think he's a Republican because he does talk a lot about like he's into like the economy and shit.
Yeah, he's pro-life too. Yeah, interesting. He initially supported Trump in 2016 election, but retracted his support in October 2016, writing, "But it's time for Donald Trump to go back to Trump Tower. Time for Mike Pence to move up to the top of the ticket." However, Ben Stein went on to vote for Donald Trump. That sounds like, to me, kind of, he didn't realize at first people were gonna hate him for supporting Trump. People were gonna threaten to boycott him and pull out deals and cut ties with him. I'm guessing here, but I wonder if he, stepped back a little bit so that wouldn't happen. Didn't want to take the heat.
Or maybe they had someone he cared about in hostage, was a hostage, right? And he got her back or him back. And then when he got him back, then he supported Trump again.
The Clintons had someone hostage.
You never know. I feel like some of these people are hiding their dirt, or something's going on why a lot of these Republicans aren't supporting Trump when they really, honestly, it should be in their best interest, including celebrities. Y'all want to get taxed more money, or did y'all get a deal like, oh, we're not going to tax you more money if you support us? Like, it doesn't make sense for rich people to support Democrats. It does not.
Yeah, except for like connections, social status, like networking. Other than that, it's like, dude, they're literally gonna tax you more unless they like get them to put like loopholes in to, save their money. Kevin says Little Marco, Two-Face. Maybe not. I don't know. Don't know a lot.
And if they're donating a bunch of money to Black Lives Matters, they can use it as a tax cut, right?
Yep. That's a write-off right there.
Boom, shakalaka.
Yep. But to mention LOOMER, the one thing I was gonna mention about her too is that she posts on Parler. She again raised $1 million. She's already got volunteers out there. She says, "I have the best, most dedicated campaign volunteers. My volunteers are out at the polls every day for early voting. These last few weeks have been so hot and humid in Florida, yet my volunteers are always eager and available to help me get elected in U.S. Congress. I hope they're knocking doors, because that's how you get it." And as Milo pointed out, like only 20% of them are white. They're mostly Black and Hispanic, which is fantastic. Bringing more people in on there, waving signs and flags, it looks like, too. So that's fantastic. That's just great. I love it. Hope she wins so badly. She's like the only person I've ever donated to other than Trump.
Trump is the only person I've ever donated to. But the guy that I wouldn't help today, Jurston Hernandez, I'll be donating to him too.
Yeah. I never donate because I look at it as these politicians don't give a shit about your money and they're getting big donor money. So, like, your 2 cents means nothing. But when it's somebody that's real and authentic and that's fighting the political machines, it actually matters.
Our money matters in your campaigns.
Yeah.
You know what, Sean? I've done a lot more talking this time than before.
I was gonna say I'm pleasantly surprised.
Me too.
Alex goes and Sam goes, and all of a sudden, Donnie is like blossoms up.
And then starts talking more, and then makes jokes that probably aren't really that funny.
Nah, we all have our unique sense of humor on this show. I feel like everybody brings something a little different. Like Phil brings his how do I put it? Boldness and brashness and provocativeness.
Yeah, and he's so creative, and like he has the different voices and everything.
Which we need to bring those voices back. We need to get more characters. I always thought that was that was sort of underutilized before. I don't know what my style of humor is. Like, it's just trolly, I guess, and sarcastic. And Alex is just, he's one of those people that's like, he's just funny, just the way he says shit. That sort of person.
I kind of feel like you and Alex are similar sometimes.
Yeah. Sometimes. Well, that's the thing. It's like, I mean, Alex was my first like real close friend I met at college, and
Mm-hmm.
like we bonded really quickly. And it's like those certain people you just have a chemistry with. Same thing with
Yeah.
Phil. Like we just had a certain chemistry that just blended well, and other people may not blend with me or Phil or Alex that well. I certainly think that we kind of are all very good with a lot of people, but like we're not for everyone. But like when
Yeah.
we're
I think so.
together, it's just like there's a certain just chemistry that you just can't match, and that's what's so unique about.
That's so true. And I've met a lot of people, right, since I have my group in person that I have on Fridays. Um, and I met Ebony Perkins. She was in the chat earlier,
Mm-hmm.
yesterday, and then we just like bonded so quickly. It was so nice to meet another conservative sister, and then and especially too, since we both have brown skin, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And then Mel, same thing. And then, I've met so many people, some people I've met who came from Twitter at our meetings. So it's super cool to meet people like that. You really just click with like that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like when even like somebody like Sargon of Akkad, Carl Benjamin, he like look, he's this massive YouTuber, and obviously he's gonna be a normal guy like at the end of the day, because like that's the thing with any of these like celebrities or big time people. It's like they're still people, but like it was something. There's certain like famous people I met where I don't want to say it's awkward, but it's like you can tell it's like holy shit, it's a famous person, or holy shit, it's this guy, and you like there's that sort of interaction you have. But like with him, it was natural, fun, intelligent interactions from start to finish on both like sides. He is such a good people person, such a nice, genuine guy. I just couldn't have been happier. And those sort of people too, like it's like Phil and Alex here too. They just when you're with them, you get smarter and you're funnier around them. Like when I'm with boring people or like some normies, it's like I will feel like I'm doing all the funny shit or all the smart shit, and they're just sort of like there, or they're just tagging along. But like when you're with truly cool people, they make you smarter, you make them smarter, they make you laugh, and you make them laugh. Like it's that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Loomer
And
again. Oh, sorry, what was that?
go ahead, go ahead. No, you go ahead. No,
Oh,
go
I was
ahead.
gonna say she yesterday posted on Parlor. She said tonight I had the honor of speaking to the Federal Law Enforcement Officers Association in Pembroke Pines, Florida, where I was presented for the award for my unwavering support for law enforcement. That's a solid endorsement, getting a Law and Order police endorsement. I mean, she's
Mm-hmm.
just networking. She's such a good networker. My God. As you were saying.
I forgot.
See, I gave you the opportunity, and you're just like,
It
nope.
was that's because like what you were saying was more important. Like really.
Yeah, because I said Loomer. My congressional
Yeah.
campaign made Drudge report today. Good. Drudge actually did something helpful. He's been all over the map recently. Kevin in chat says, you donate so you can say that you donate. It's for you, not them. In many ways, that's kind of true, especially with the big time, party back campaigns. But like people like Loomer and Trump early on, like, nah, that money really did mean a lot. I mean, campaigns are
Yeah.
expensive as shit. Even the ones where the party's backing them, like those small donations add up. Like with Bernie, for example, and unless they're pocketing the money, which some suspect Bernie and his wife might have been funneling it in some ways.
What?
Yeah, there's some crazy shit with
I didn't
that.
know that.
It's really crazy. I didn't know about it too till my dad mentioned it. There's some stuff where Bernie's wife, I forget how this works. She was like handling the funds for his ads, and they were going to some like like weird address, and it's like some people think they were just pocketing the money. It's really weird. There's like a weird scam that hasn't been looked into there. Bernie Sanders' wife money. See if I can find someone that, but it's really weird. I can probably find fence.
Before we end the night, we're gonna have to go through my Twitter feed about the Trump's Batman. There's so many funny like pictures. You're gonna have to show it. It's really funny. Like
Yeah, I'll pull up your feed right now. Oh, there it is. The first tweet I see.
it's hilarious. Well, it might be what I tagged you in.
Yeah,
It might not be the
yeah.
actual tweet, but it is hilarious. And then someone said, I'm not saying Trump's Batman, but I've never seen both of them in the room at the same time.
Yes. Oh my god, that's funny.
I don't know. I think Trump has the Batman for the win. Like that's a lot of likes within that less than 30 minutes.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing with Twitter is like, you know, you got to break. You know, if you just keep saying the same shit everybody's saying, you're not going to break out. But if you say something that's unique, that's provocative, that's fun, that's interesting, that's how you break out. And little things like that, you know, can kind of, you know, they're interesting. Like people want to like and retweet that. Like I don't want to like a tweet that's like, the Democratic Party is a socialist party. Yeah. Very original take there. Very interesting. No, it's like when you say something like Trump is Batman, it's like, yes, I want to like that.
And I don't see Iron Man because you know Iron Man kind of seems similar to Batman.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see the engineering piece. I just think of how Bruce thinks logically and does things he does. The same background story, I guess, in a little bit with him being rich, like crime, fighting Joker. Oh, that's another thing. Batman fights Joker. Democrats are Joker. They feed on people with mental issues and they use them to fight their battles for them. And then Trump is fighting them. So therefore, I win the argument. Trump is Batman. He's not Superman. He's not Iron Man. Trump is Batman.
Yeah. Iron Man is Elon Musk. Elon Musk is Iron Man. And another thing, too, I'm seeing on Twitter trending. I'm going to give some insight on this that I heard from a volunteer. According to the FDA, hydroxychloroquine is not an effective treatment for COVID-19. I'd have to read into that a bit more, see if that's what the FDA even really said. But I was talking to a volunteer that actually works at Penn State Hershey Medical Center, I think it's called. It's not the one I think near main campus. It's one near closer to the Lancaster area. I forget exactly what it's called, but I think it was Penn State Hershey. And she said that, number one, there's a lot of things that are COVID cases that being called COVID cases aren't. Number two is it's being way overblown. The deaths are really overblown. Everything about it's overblown. It's bad, but it is getting politically utilized for political gains. And she really doesn't like Fauci. She thinks he was pushing remdesivir for money and not hydroxychloroquine, which is substantially cheaper and less money. Could be true. I mean, that's just her take, and she seems to have some XP with this stuff, but you know, it's the most politicized thing that shouldn't be politicized.
You're yawning.
I know. I'm hitting on 1 a.m. here.
We might have to cut out in like 3 minutes. We might have to cut out in 3 minutes.
Yeah, before that dread 1 a.m. hits.
Oh, yeah, for you. It'll be 12 for me. Still Tejas.
You people on your central time are an hour behind us. Oh, that's a cool picture. I'll tag you in this, Donnie. It's I don't know. These have been really cool. This has been like a sensation in Florida. These Trump boat parades. I don't know if you guys have been seeing these.
Those are super cool.
Yeah.
I think it's so awesome. Like it's like so different. Like there's so much. I honestly, they say like what Trump had like 85% enthusiasm or 86 from his party.
Mm-hmm.
But like Trump, honestly think he has like 95.
Oh, it's gotta be higher. Yeah.
Because there's no way, like, I'm excited. I've never gone to these lengths to promote somebody ever,
Mm-hmm.
ever. And he says what he's going to do. And I don't like being lied to, and he doesn't lie. Is he perfect? No, not by any means, but he doesn't lie, and he does what he says he's going to do, and he seems to really care about the people
Yeah. Yeah.
and not himself.
Like everything, like I look at this like that original 2016 announcement speech, you know, the immigration, the America First foreign policy and trade, the focus on helping the American worker, and cutting out the lobbies, cutting out the special interests. Which, by the way, I'm going to mention some about that. But all this stuff, it just gets to the heart of what people have been like hungry for. I mean, we're a little bit young. I'm a little bit young, but I bet you guys remember the Tea Party movement. That really was sort of like the foreshadowing of Trump. I mean, you could tell there was anger and animosity building, and I don't think Trump could have run in 2012 like some people were saying he was going to. I remember when there was talk of that. You need another 4 years of Obama. You know, the country needed to go through that to be ready to want Trump.
Right,
But
everything happens for a reason. So if Obama didn't make laws in a branch where he wasn't supposed to be making laws, now Trump has that power to do that. So imagine, like, you know, if Trump jumped in sooner, like everything happened in good timing and for a reason.
yeah, it's all about timing. It's critical. But one thing I'm gonna pull up. Let's see if I have it. Because these Trump votes remind me that I'm gonna mention the other thing I was gonna mention. When the SpaceX rocket, the capsule landed in the ocean, it landed near, I think, Florida, and it was like the funniest unintentional photobomb ever. Which was like when there were these boats, local boats there, coming to the capsule. One of them had a freaking Trump flag. So it's so funny to see that on the news. I'm like, yes. This is why I love these people.
Yes, they're like the best people. They really are.
Yeah. I love Trump supporters. They're just great people.
Yeah, and Kevin said Obama is the reason we have Trump.
Exactly.
Period.
Yep. That's why I love Obama. You know, voters defected to Trump. You know, they woke up and realized that they didn't get the hope and change they want, but Trump was different.
He delivered on his promises.
Yep.
So what do you have to lose instead of pandering? And I love it. I love it. I appreciate him not insulting my intelligence.
And he's also like super funny. Like one thing I was gonna mention too is that during that press conference yesterday, when the media was going after him for like, these people don't have masks or something. I forget what they were saying, and Trump's like, God, I need to find. It was so funny. Posobiec retweeted. It was so fucking funny. Let me find it. Shoot, where is it? It's just such a funny tweet that he posted of what Trump said, but like the media was like attacking him. I found, a reporter just asked why Trump's guests weren't social distancing or wearing masks, and Trump said that's okay. It's a peaceful protest.
Yes. My president. That's my president.
Yep. It's funny. It's clever. It's holding them to their standards. And people were wearing masks and social distancing for the most part, I think. But it's like, it's just funny. You know, it's like how he sucks the oxygen out of the room. But I was going to mention, too, and they're talking about cutting out special interests and all shit. There was a documentary that came out on HBO called The Swamp. Did any of you get a chance to watch that?
I didn't. Yeah. I tend to watch politics or anime, so.
No, that's a combo.
Yeah.
Well, I was interested in it because it had Matt Gaetz in it, and I love Matt Gaetz. He is.
I like him too.
The one thing I will say about this documentary is it will make you love Matt Gaetz even more and gain a whole new level of respect for him. I didn't even know this, but he announced at CPAC 2020. I was even there and I didn't even hear about this shit. He is no longer taking any super PAC, special interests, or lobbyist money. He's cut it all out.
Good for him. I can totally see why. See, I like him. So I like him way more than I like Crenshaw. I would like to switch him. Crenshaw can go wherever he's at, and then Matt can come to Texas. I would love that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Crenshaw's cool, but he seems kind of moderate to me.
Yeah, I have a lot of big issues with Crenshaw. I mean, I liked him initially. I think he's got talent, but some of his policy things are really I don't know, dude. But
she reminds me of Tulsi Gabbard.
Tulsi, yeah, she's fallen off the map. Nobody talks about her anymore all of a sudden. I haven't heard that name in a long time.
She was trying to trick conservatives who never Trumpers to think that she was more conservative or moderate. She was trying to trick them.
She
raised her hand just like everybody else, and if you look at her Twitter feed, she's really actually anti-Trump, huge hater.
Oh huge hater. I knew some people from Penn State that were I don't even know what I classify them as, but they were initially Trump supporters, and they went onto the Yang Gang train, then they went onto the Tulsi train, and I'm like, you people are believe in nothing. Nuts. I mean, Tulsi Gabbard is not conservative. Yeah, no loyalty.
No.
I mean, when you look, yes, is her foreign policy a bit more, what we like? Yes. But what else does she have? Nothing else. She's
nice face, nice body.
Oh yeah, she does have a nice face. That's honestly the thing. It's guys are getting under that fucking hypnosis of they're getting hypnotized by her because she's good looking. I'm yeah, she's good looking, but look beyond that, and she's for Medicare for all. She's friendly with Antifa and Occupy Wall Street people. You look, and she hates Trump. This girl is a progressive on most things.
Yep. And they're falling for it. And that's why sometimes too, if someone's oh, you really like you should run for office, and well, is it because you really like what I'm saying, or is it my face?
Mm-hmm.
It's we have to remember the actual policies they're put in place, what these people are saying to their followers, what people are saying to people behind closed doors. Hillary tells one group one thing, and then she tells another group a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever happened when Tulsi Gabbard suing Hillary, by the way, whatever happened with that? That just went away.
Don't even know if anything came of it. I mean, it was nice at the time. It's just a political stunt. And that's and her problem is you heard these people oh, she has a chance of getting a nomination. No, she doesn't. She doesn't appeal to anyone. She's a Democrat that appeals to that conservatives that's a losing formula. You need Democrats to like you. That's your target market. I mean, I don't know what she was trying to do except try to be different, make a name for herself, and get a Fox News gig.
That's what she was trying to do.
Could be that too. It could be very that too.
So Sean, Kevin suggests that we become leaders in Canada.
I was gonna say that. No, I do not.
Let's go.
Sorry, Kevin. I'm gonna have to decline that invitation because I like America. I like the freedoms we have. I like the president we have, and I like that we don't.
He wanted to save Canada, though. We need to save them too.
Dude, if Canada voted for fucking blackface Trudeau, as my girlfriend calls him Trudeau. I made a joke there. She's gonna hate me for that. But Trudeau, I mean, Jesus, no, that country is something else. I like this podcast more than Fox News. Thank you. Donnie hypnotized me too. Ooh, now I'm listening to Sean. Ooh. Oh.
But Kevin said he actually likes Tulsi, but dude, she was trying to trick you. She was trying to hypnotize you.
Yeah, don't fall for it, man.
Don't fall for her. She got a cute smile, nice little shape. She was trying to get you.
Kevin, I really like Leo Terrell 2.0. Dude, Base Leo, what happened to him? Oh my god. He went from this biggest Trump hater to like, I'm voting for Trump. It's amazing. Justin Turtle. Possibly Western separation.
Hey, Radio Freedom. We're about to get off soon, but
Yeah.
I'm happy you came.
Yeah. Love the support, dude.
Love
Radiant
it. I love you guys
Freedom
so
just
much.
popped in. But yeah, like I was saying about the documentary, that I want to hit on that a little bit because it's worth watching. But Matt Gaetz is just, I love Matt Gaetz. He's a super smart, solid guy, good looking, good
He's on
talker.
fire.
Oh, he is
And
fire.
he's single too, right?
I'll leave the ladies to look into that.
I'm a lady.
Hey, well, do your research now. Let's fact check that.
I'm really joking though. I actually made a post one day asking jokingly, like I did now, if Matt Gaetz was single, and people started tagging him.
I'd be like, he can't be. Dude's a Chad, natural Chad. But he, it's very interesting sort of following his like day-to-day life in that documentary. But Thomas Massey also was in that, and Massey's hit or miss with me, but because he's got that libertarianism in him that you just can't get out of him. But Gaetz is a solid populist. He is presidential material. Like, he is going to run for president one day, and he's going to win. He is a rock star. I mean, I
Trump
love him.
likes him too, and Trump complimented him numerous times.
Oh, that's the best part of the documentary is when he calls Trump, and they have their phone conversations, like in the documentary. And Gaetz literally, when he leaves a voicemail for Trump, I'm not making this up. He goes, "Hey, Mr. President, this is Matt Gaetz, your favorite congressman."
I love it. I'm watching this as soon as this is over. I'm watching.
Yeah, it's on HBO, so you can check it out, stream and everything.
Wait, I thought it was on Netflix.
No, it's on HBO.
Oh, I might watch it then.
Wow, I went from okay, I might watch this.
We don't have to pay for it. I already have a subscription, so like it's something separate.
Yeah, it's on. If you have HBO, you can view it online on their HBO Max website. Even if you like subscribe to HBO on cable, like you can get through HBO Max. But you can probably find clips somewhere of that. But those are really cool parts. And like Trump praises the shit out of Matt Gaetz. He's like, "I love you, Matt.
Mm-hmm.
You're he's like, you're really talented, and you have a look too. Like, you're really good looking."
Yeah, he does. Yep, I remember. And then I like Jim Jordan too.
Who's that?
Jim Jordan.
Oh yeah, Jim Jordan's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Recently, I heard some stuff that was kind of like, I don't know about him, but like he's pretty solid for the most part.
Sometimes they lie, though. Remember, they lie.
Yeah.
He seems pretty consistent to me.
Well, there's something about the big tech hearing that Cernovich was talking about, where I think Jim Jordan was basically not going to hold big tech accountable or anything. Like, I forget the whole deal with that. Like, I don't want to dive too deep into it because I don't know the details, but people should check that out on Cernovich's website, because he had a memo that he released about Jim Jordan about the tech stuff it seemed pretty concerning. But the one thing I didn't like about this documentary is it kind of takes like a leftist take with it near the end. Like, it does a pretty good job of highlighting these Republicans, but it, like, the Gaetz of Trump bromance, this article calls it, is fantastic. It's just so freaking funny. Yeah, like this one part says where Trump told Gaetz on the phone after the Mueller hearing, "You were great today. You're handsome, so that's always good." I mean, it's just funny. But like, what I didn't like is at the end of it, they kind of framed Trump and paint Trump as like this guy that was going to drain the swamp that became the swamp, which isn't true at all. Like, it's totally false. I didn't like that because like Trump, he fired Comey, got rid of McCabe, put a ban on lobbying for a year or something like that, and a lifetime ban on lobbying for like, I forget what the thing is, but he put some sort of ban on lobbying, and he's brought in people like Gaetz or like these drain the swamp type guys and inspired people like that. Like, he's done substantial things to drain the swamp, but it's a generational thing. Like, you need your Gateses, you need other people to come in that are not bought and paid for by the special interests. And look, Trump's got so much money, like, and they're like paying like he's taking all this money, and I'm like, I personally think Trump's gonna say fuck these guys. Like, I don't think he's gonna really be beholden to them at all. So, I didn't like that angle to it, but overall though, it was well worth it.
Mhm.
So yeah, we didn't even touch the Jake Paul stuff. So I'll mention that briefly, but once Alex gets back on next week, we can dive into it. Basically, Jake Paul has this like Weinstein like manager allegedly, that allegedly does some really creepy stuff like sexually harassing and assaulting women in the Paul's mansion, even raping a girl, I think. So
Wow.
it's pretty bad, and because the FBI raided their place the other day, and that's what sounds like it was really over. Not him being involved with the looting down in Arizona, but this shit.
Oh, the FBI raided some place in Cleveland, Ohio, too, and Miami, Florida, and it had to do with Burisma.
Oh,
Burisma.
really?
Mhm.
Well, Alex came back in for the perfect times. I was
What's up,
saving the Jake
Holly?
Paul story for you.
Sorry about that. Had some stuff I had to deal with, but
That's okay.
Yeah. You know, Alex is a busy man.
Mhm.
yeah, but yeah, that Jake Paul stuff, like that guy, I swear to God, like the whole Paul family, I think there's some very just fucked up people that somehow keep getting away with it. You know, they're like the YouTube, like the fucking popular Sam Hydes of the world. They keep getting the fuck away with it. But no, like it's kind of, you know, they can do whatever they want because they're fucking rich and famous. It's basically like, from what I hear, who was it? Jake Paul was participating in rioting and looting, you know, basically using the Black Lives Matter protests to go and further their own aims. While on top of that, they were committing, allegedly, some, you know, some pretty disturbing stuff. Like allegedly, the manager, according to who was that, Drama Alert, like, and the people that he brought on there was some sexual assault allegations thrown around there, and involving, you know, multiple people, the manager and himself included. And they were saying that he might not know what's going on. I call bullshit, because how do you not know what's going on in your own house? Like, come on. And then they, like, when they raided his house, they found like all sorts of like just weird shit. Like they found a bunch of like guns and stuff. And they live in California, and some of those did not necessarily look California compliant.
Yep.
I really don't give a shit about those laws, but like, I just makes me wonder, what's this guy doing? You know, what's really going on with him? Because I don't think it's legitimate activity going on in his house. I think there could very well be some disturbing things, and you know, time will tell. But it seems like this family, you know, between him and like his brother, like they've done so much just bizarre shit. Like his brother with the suicide forest and tasing rats and all this other stuff, and you know, a bunch of these like sort of Ponzi scheme-ish, like scam and whatnot YouTube things going on, like these YouTube videos about these companies, which just seem pretty fishy. Like, what's going on over here? And you know, I think his brother isn't monetized anymore, but him, you know, he still apparently is. Like, how does that fucking happen?
How is Logan Paul still even on YouTube, other than for the fact that obviously they, you know, they're good for YouTube, because YouTube probably still makes some money off him some way.
We hit the nail on the head. They're good for YouTube. They don't, like, YouTube doesn't really care as long as you're raking in the dough.
Yeah. Well, I want to see if Keem gets more info. I can't believe fucking like Drama Alert is like doing like social, I don't want to say social justice, but like, you know, what was that?
Social services.
Yes, social services. Like, people in the comments were even making jokes, like, because his line at the end of it's like, you know, if anybody has any stories to share or like to come forward, just, you know, come on Drama Alert. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
You should probably call the police too.
Yeah, obviously, but it's just crazy what's going on with that. And I think personally, this is gonna be the thing that does Logan and Jake Paul in, or maybe just Jake. But it depends how much Logan's tied to this. But this is pretty bad. I mean, it's just, oh, dude, it's
I
next level.
honestly, I doubt it because these people are so well connected. The manager is probably gonna be the fall guy for this. I'm telling you that right now because that's what I see coming from this behavior. He's gonna be the fall guy, and yeah. And did you see like what's going on too? Speaking of YouTube drama with Pokimane now, like she apparently quit YouTube.
Oh, she did.
Like she's going like I think she made a post like I'm going AFK after she got so much heat from like fucking Leafy and I think
Wow.
Keemstar.
Well, I see a Leafy video popped up on this Keem video. It says content blackout Pokimane.
Yeah, that's what they talked about that over there. Like honestly, she's I don't like her. She's cancerous to YouTube in my like not YouTube to Twitch. Like she is above the law on Twitch. She has done so many things which would get other people like can't like she had and you know it's stuff that honestly shouldn't be rules, but they are. But because she's as popular as she is, they give her a free pass.
She is pretty though.
Is she though? I mean,
Well,
yeah,
with her makeup, let me put it that way.
yeah, and then like the whole thing, people started unsubbing from her because they found out that she had a boyfriend allegedly. So yeah, like
Simps out.
yeah, there's a bunch of fucking like incels and simps on her YouTube, which you
Why
know.
would she pretend to have a boyfriend?
Oh no, she didn't pretend. Like I think Leafy said that, and apparently it was alleged, or maybe not. I don't know, but people still got to like they didn't like that because you know it's their waifu.
I mean,
Like they imagine themselves being married to her or something, and they weren't very happy that she's in a relationship.
Yeah, they want to go and think that she's this like, you know, they have a chance with her, which is stupid. It's like a stripper, sort of. Like I don't know, some of these like Twitch streamers, and she doesn't even really make her own content most of the time. It's like she'll react to videos on Twitch a lot of times.
Strippers, did you realize that Cardi B started a fans only account, or however you say that thing?
She started an
Like-
OnlyFans.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Yes.
she was a stripper, wasn't she?
Yeah, but she must be poor because she's trying to pretend like she's doing it to get rid of her haters. If her haters are going to hate, they have to pay for it. No, she needs money. Like,
Well,
that's how I'm looking at it.
To be fair, you can make a lot of money in that business. Like I had, there's this girl who used to go to my high school who she became a porn star, and then she ended up just going to become a cam girl because she makes so much more money being a cam girl than being an actual porn star. Because you know,
Cardi said she doesn't dance now. She makes money moves. Remember?
yeah, but I mean, didn't say anything about like being a cam or whatever the politically correct term for that is a OnlyFans.
Wow.
No disrespect to the only people. I'm just making fun of Cardi because you know she thinks she can talk smack about the president of the United States, but if anyone talks about her, it's different.
Pokimane, I can't believe how many like the shit she gets on Twitter. Like she on this one picture, she's like showing a before and after of her skincare. She has 89,000 likes on it. These fucking like Simpson incels like flocked her. I mean, look, is she cute and pretty? Yeah, definitely. But like, Jesus Christ, guys.
That's the way it is. You know, if you're a pretty female streamer, you can make a lot of money just because there's guys out there who want to go and you know fantasize about it. It's a fantasy, and it's a very simpy fantasy out there too. Because these people were like, you know, they're her like White Knight Army. When someone criticizes her, they will go and like flag the video, try to take it down. It got like Leafy's one video age restricted like as soon as he posted it.
Wow.
But like, you know, and she's just bad for the platform too, because she'll go and advocate to get people's sponsors removed. Like she's one of those sort of people, which I think is pretty bad. You know, you should never try to go and like attack sponsors. That's what who was it H3H3? That was what he tried to do.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it just creates this situation that, no one really wins. You think you're doing, a good move or whatever, you're hurting your enemies, but it doesn't do anything positive for the community. It makes it even harder for everyone to make money off of YouTube. And that's, some people do that for a living. But yeah,
Here, I
I
got
saw something in the chat. Someone said Nancy is pretty too.
Nancy.
what? Pelosi? Are you fucking with me?
Was she making OnlyFans now? Yes.
Can you imagine
They have a
Nancy
comedian.
Pelosi's?
They have a comedian.
Can you imagine her OnlyFans? Oh my god.
You know who I see who could actually do that?
Tommy
Right.
Lahren?
Yes, but I was thinking like AOC trying to do something.
Yo,
like
she
that.
would. I would actually laugh if she did. No, AOC made some like League of Legends references recently. Apparently she plays it.
Oh god, did you guys talk about that yet with the China executive order?
No, that's true. The TikTok ban. Shit, there's just so much.
Not even just TikTok. It's
WeChat,
Tencent.
Tencent. Yeah, you want to dive into that real quick, Alex? Can you explain the TLDR of that?
Yeah, so basically Trump did an executive order, and it's going to be affecting a bunch of these online Chinese-related applications. So you got ByteDance, I think TikTok was included in there, or ByteDance I think is the same people.
Yeah.
And there's, what was that one you just mentioned?
Tencent.
Yeah, Tencent, which owns a disturbing amount of game companies are related to that. So be aware. You're going to be having potentially some interesting stuff in the games market because we've allowed the Chinese to basically get so heavily invested and involved in our game companies. So I'd be on the lookout for that because I don't know what's going to happen because there's a lot of game companies involved. And
Epic Games is a big one.
Because in China, if you want to basically be involved in the games industry, you have to go through these Chinese companies. And that's where you're going to start to have some issues.
Yeah,
but
I
think
mean,
it's a good thing, in the long run.
What was that?
I think it's a good thing in the long run to start divesting from,
Yep.
these companies because, and you've seen it too, like Activision, because their ties to China, they've had issues with, censorship, especially with, the incident with like Hong Kong back when people actually cared about Hong Kong before it got completely taken over by the Chi-Cons.
Yeah, and the fact that people who speak up about stuff end up missing or dead.
Yeah, it's disgusting. Like their whole country is probably they called the Soviet Union the evil empire. I think they're wrong. I think China is the evil empire.
Absolutely.
China is the new evil empire. And look, we have probably all we've all known this for years, talking about it for years. Trump's been talking about it for years. Like these people that are just waking up, I'm like, where have you been? Where has your head been in that you haven't like known anything about China?
So look in your closet and look at all your clothes. Like, where have you been?
No, I mean, you're not even like, it's obviously a joke, but like it's got truth to it. It's like these people are in their own little worlds, their own little bubbles, and they're usually elitist with their fancy clothes and shit. They just don't care or don't see it. And the other thing too is that it's something in relation to the TikTok thing. Microsoft is looking to buy basically the infrastructure of TikTok, like basically sort of be the U.S. Yeah,
I thought they
yeah.
already did.
I don't
know.
See, like there's some things that Trump said that I actually disagree with on that. Is like he wants a cut of that. I don't think he should get I don't think the U.S. should get a cut of that necessarily. I think just getting rid of TikTok as a force, but I am concerned with that too because you can see why. I can tell you who's been posturing for that, and it's not for U.S. national security reasons. Yeah, they don't want competition.
Yeah,
that's what I'm concerned about.
I think it's okay for Trump as a president to say something about that because Trump already addressed that he may be banning TikTok before this, and then Microsoft turned around and did it anyways. That's, in my opinion, them just doing something behind his back or doing something behind our backs.
Well, no, I'm just concerned with the fact that like we already have some tech monopolies in this country that, you know, even though they're run by Americans, their values are probably closer to anti-American than anything else.
Yeah,
But
I see what you're saying. Yeah,
but
that's
you
true.
know, my other issue with that too is like Trump keeps saying, "Oh, I want a cut of this." I don't know if he might just be saying that to go and posture or whatever. But I don't think that's going to happen. I don't see the legal precedent unless it's like through a tax on the purchase, which I don't think that's the way that works. Because I think that's already like pre-taxed assets going to purchase it. I don't even know if Microsoft's going to actually buy it because they might just sell it to a European country.
I think
Yeah.
somebody is gonna buy it up because here's the thing: when I said that TikTok would be banned, I didn't anticipate that these other companies would try to like buy parts of it. Because I don't understand how a lot of shit works, but I think TikTok will be out of the hands of the Chinese within 45 days, one way or the other. It's either going to be banned or somebody else is going to take it up. I think it's more likely somebody takes it up because it's so freaking huge. It is the, platform of the Zoomers right now, and it's going to be whoever buys it is going to have a very interesting buy because on the one hand, you're buying the biggest social media platform, the biggest growing one right now, but on the other hand, its fucking name has been tarnished as CCP spyware. And
Yeah,
as Radio Free mentioned in the chat here, something I've been thinking too, which is like when I first heard that Microsoft might buy it, I was like, shit, maybe I will download TikTok now. But then I quickly thought, what's the fucking difference? Like, yeah, Microsoft has it, but the Chinese aren't stupid. They're going to put some backdoor in there to still get shit out of it. I still don't trust it. I
exactly.
can't trust it.
Well, I think what'll be the difference is the server. Like, what might happen to there might be a U.S. version and then international version that ends up being created. So Chinese might retain rights in everywhere, but the U.S. and other countries that are against China. And there might be the international version, which is the same old TikTok that you've come to know. That might happen. And they'll the U.S. version will probably just use like Microsoft resources instead of mainland
But
China.
how do you know? Here's the thing. It's like, we know that China and big tech are like buddy buddies, despite what any of them say. How do you know China isn't just like getting all that shit from Microsoft? Like, I still think they're gonna cut a deal with them and get data or get whatever from them. I can't trust anything that has any sort of Chinese origins like that.
I honestly think that TikTok might end up phasing out because Instagram has been discussing new features that are similar to TikTok. So if Instagram doesn't have that same rap as TikTok does and people like those features, they're going to go to that. And Instagram is also adding other features which will help people grow their business and sell their products. So I think TikTok might eventually phase out.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I just downloaded Instagram actually for the first time, like actually a day ago. I just never jumped into it because I never quite understood the point of it because it's like you can post pictures anywhere.
I had Instagram and Facebook, before I ever had Twitter.
I think the first thing I jumped on was Twitter.
Maybe Twitter's a younger people thing then,
Kind of.
Its own company. Then I think didn't it get bought out by Facebook a while ago.
Instagram did, yeah.
And that's an interesting thing too, because from what I understand, that was purely as an anti-competitive reasoning to go and purchase it from Facebook. They didn't really gain anything other than they lost competition, which honestly, to me, that sounds like anti-competitive practices. But I'm not a lawyer, so
It sounds like monopoly because the Congress has already investigated and brought this up, but Facebook denied them trying to have monopoly. But it sounds like a monopoly to me.
Yeah, I agree with that, and that's what has me concerned with that. I mean, Microsoft, I feel like that actually would be smart on them because they don't really have a leg to stand on in terms of social media. Microsoft's been more corporate based. They have Skype for Business, which is kind of on the way out, but Teams, and they have Azure, which is like that's pretty huge in the business world. Yeah. So I think this might be their foray into social media. But if let's say Facebook tried to buy that, I would be really concerned because or like if
Oh,
Google tried to do it, even that would be concerning because they're already on YouTube, so
I
they'd have
want
Facebook.
Facebook to try to buy it. Please do it. Do it. Do it, Facebook.
Yeah, no, I mean,
It's
if they were
so
like that, just
slow.
seems anti-competitive. If like Facebook were to buy it to me, I mean, if they want to go and do do their own thing, which I heard that they already had a feature that was like short form, that's different. But I just don't know. I don't think that'd be smart.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think, I wonder if TikTok will ever die out or anything, because see, the funny thing about TikTok is that it's nothing really unique. Vine did the same thing. You kind of do this on Instagram. You can kind of do this on Snapchat, but it's sort of the music, short music sort of aspect of it that was more unique. But
So it's like a mixture of MySpace.
man, now you're dating me.
Pretty much just, it's pretty much just Vine. Now, why did Vine go out of business? Was it just a monetization thing?
I have no clue. That was weird when Vine went out. And well, now they have Byte too, which is Vine 2.0. Oh, new report: TikTok suing Trump administration over ban as soon as Tuesday.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that because there is, you could argue that he is partially doing this to protect U.S. social media companies. Like, there is an argument to be made.
But there's also the national security argument, which is a greater argument that will trump their argument.
We'll see how it plays out.
That's the case. I'm gonna sue Obama for lying about doing anything for Black people. Then, okay, I'm gonna sue Obama then because he's a liar.
Yeah,
he's actually really a liar.
I mean, the national security thing. I mean, yeah, you could make that argument. I think he was probably pushed to do this from Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, even. Personally, maybe I'm wrong.
I think, well, here's the thing. This story broke when Pompeo said that basically TikTok was a national security threat on Laura Ingram's show. That's where this all started. They're looking at this from the national security lens, but I bet you're right. Big Tech is probably lobbying him, saying they want to ban it. And Trump might use that to his advantage if he's smart with this. But I think they're looking at this more through the national security lens. But it's Bill Gates says the Microsoft TikTok deal is a poison chalice. He's probably right, but interesting how he would say that of all people. But it's I don't know. I think somebody's gonna try to buy it. Might very well be Microsoft, but it's I think as much as I want TikTok to be banned, I don't think it's just gonna disappear, if you know what I mean. I feel like
I hope it's banned.
I hope so too.
Imagine the children who are on there and they're being tracked and with their parents. Like, I want it banned.
All right, let's be fair though. I mean, if you go and upload to Facebook, YouTube, any of those things, you're being tracked anyways.
Of course.
But at least it's not communist China. That's a difference.
Yeah, like Big Tech is evil, but I don't want the enemy of the United States, like a global, like an empire, a superpower, using my data to build AI and to basically kick our ass.
But if you go and look into what like Google's been doing specifically, they work with China already to go and do a lot of these features.
Oh yeah, and we gotta stop that too. It's just
but I thought there was already lawsuits already in place right now with Google with that. That's what I saw.
I don't know if it was actually resolved yet. That's my thing. Like,
no, it's not resolved yet. No.
So that could be the issue too. But it's like, you're screwed if you do, you're screwed if you don't. If you use Facebook, Google, any of these other services, you're being tracked and your data is being sold to third-party companies who do God knows what with it. Like, I think it was like Grindr or whatever that had a huge issue with like data like being sold to third-party companies about your HIV status, which for those of you who don't know, Grindr's like the gay version of Tinder. So they were basically selling your HIV status, allegedly, according to the lawsuit, to this third party like AIDS tracking company,
Oh
which,
my gosh.
yeah, and that's a US based, company. And Facebook has had issues, like similar issues, where like they'd go and have these targeted ads and it would basically out people for being gay with
And
some of
then
these targeted ads.
people give Facebook their debit card, like to pay people, like Cash App and stuff. Like, oh no, I'm not. Mm-mm.
Oh, like Facebook's done so many shitty things too. Like they had, I think it was either Facebook or who was the other thing at Facebook? It was like LinkedIn, where they were people could go and use targeted ads to go and sell people houses. And for a long time, you could go and make targeted ads based on like a bunch of protected things you're not allowed to go and use, like race and sex and
Yeah.
gender and stuff, which was basically violating numerous laws because people go and say, "Hey, I want to go and target, let's say, like black people or white people for housing," which is a big no-no federally. So, there all these companies, they do a lot of really shady shit, and even if it's U.S. based, it's like I think we need to have a larger conversation about tech usage of your data in general, other than just U.S. good, China bad. It's more
Yeah.
nuanced than that. I think the U.S. ones need to be, taken to task about some of the stuff they're doing.
You're right.
I think we probably should have a GDPR, like a United States version of that, because that's the one thing I do love about Europe is they have a legal way to go and get your data back and stuff like that and see how they're tracking you. But in the U.S., I think California has one, but that's about it. If you don't live in California, you don't really have any rights to your own
And
data.
that's true. And I'm kind of like frustrated that they wanted Jack Dorsey to show up to that hearing they had with Big Tech. He didn't show up. And they're not holding him accountable. So as if he's not actually someone to target. They're not doing enough with, the tech issues here in America. And I do still think it's really important to go after TikTok. But like they really need to be slimming down. Like Trump can and should really slam down. And like make like fines. Every time they screw with somebody, like there should be a fine like for $5,000 each time they do it. They'll stop. Or they won't have a company anymore at all.
That's what GDPR is sort of like. If you actually look at the law, they can do stuff like that. And that's why we need a U.S. version of it. But I know, like, I think it was Google, they kept getting in trouble with like antitrust, like, and a bunch of other violations, but they make so much money that they can just eat it. And they're still paying like Google software developers like hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. Like the money these people make, it's like insane. I've used Blind before, which is like it's a really interesting social media app, but like it's one of those ones that is, you know, anonymous. And you can go and see how much people makes it. It's the whole point. Like, hey, I can go and show you how much I make without revealing who I am. And these people in like California working for like Facebook, Google, Amazon, all these other companies, they make so much money, and so
Mm-hmm.
much of them just like hate Trump. A lot of these people, they're like, H-1B like and contractors from like India and stuff too. So
Did
that's
y'all also see where Twitter stock has dropped?
well, they just had a huge data breach a few weeks ago, which I'm sure they're going to get some sort of fines for that because you know they got hacked by like a kid. Oh, and
I
speaking of
think that's fake. I think
huh?
it was staged.
No, it was done like it was like a 17-year-old kid like did a voicemail phishing to a Twitter employee. And I mean, I work in cybersecurity. Like phishing attacks are an absolute, it's an issue. Like phishing and vishing, that's a surprising number of data breaches can happen as a result of that. That's like the entry point for other bad stuff into your network.
One
The
thing,
But
real
reason why I
quick.
think it's staged though is because the fact that the whole Chrissy girl stuff was coming out, and then she all of a sudden somehow magically unfollowed or blocked a million people, and they're hacking blue check mark accounts. That's why I find it really fishy that they're blaming and putting this on a 17-year-old hacker when this timing wasn't. It seemed like it was beneficial to people who are, begging for protection from Twitter.
It could be that too, but like it's like the whole thing with like vishing and phishing. It's not really a sophisticated attack. All you have to go and do is call someone and lie, basically, to go and
Mm.
do those attacks. But what's kind of interesting with that too is I don't know if any of you guys saw this, but there was a the trial for this one 17-year-old kid. It was over a Zoom conference, and that Zoom
Overtaken by
conference
pornography?
yeah, I
What?
got Zoom bombed. Like Zoom bombed a judge. Like whoever did that, like they're an absolute fucking mad lad over there. Like you're really playing with fire. You're going Zoom bomb like a federal trial. But
Oh my god. I just saw that on Google. That's so fucking funny.
yeah, I saw like part of the transcript over there, and because it's a federal trial, I think you can actually do a Freedom of Information Act request to get the original one. I don't know, like, because I saw a few minutes of it. It was fucking funny, gross and shit, but like, oof.
Oh my god. It says they apologize because they didn't enable the setting that would prevent people from taking over the screen. How the fuck do you not prevent that?
You'd be surprised, like, like the federal, like a lot of governments, like especially local, like their cybersecurity awareness is not as high as you would think. That's why you see like tons of local governments getting like ransomware attacks and like defaced, at least back in the day. Like it's surprising because I don't have the money to go and pay for like a full-time security operations center or any of these other things that a lot of Fortune 500 companies have.
Yeah,
Apparently he
because
has.
they're busy stealing the money for themselves.
Yeah, and apparently the kid has $3 million worth of Bitcoin assets.
He's a hacker boy.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting. And Jack Dorsey is really big into the Bitcoin world.
I haven't seen that.
Well, one thing I want to mention too quick before we dive into these other things and before we shut down soon, but Kanye like posted some tweets of some stuff, and one of them's a screenshot of like this picture of some, I guess, clothes he's making, and at the top it has like the search, for Google, like stuff he searched up, and it shows in his search box he has Kim K flashes nipple in the search box.
What? Oh my god.
Troll one?
So goofy.
I wonder if he is
Weirdo.
trolling. That's funny.
So goofy.
Did y'all talk about the video from George Floyd?
No, I do. It's
No,
something we
we
do
have
need to talk
not.
about.
Yeah. First off, did y'all see the video?
I have not yet, but I need to. Like, I absolutely need to, because I heard he's a fucking like drugged up mess and said I can't breathe before he was even on the ground.
Yeah, I saw it. He did. And like he seemed like he was on something. He wasn't he wasn't cooperating with the police. He's big as heck. Like he's a huge guy. And then he was somehow he's claustrophobic, but he was just in another car. It's just a bunch of crap. And then the mainstream media news isn't talking about it, just like they didn't talk about when the couple, when the husband died from drinking the fish tank cleaner. They didn't mention the fact that she murdered her husband. Oh, she's being investigated for murdering her husband now. They just put all these lies, and never come back or retract or apologize for lying.
Yeah, that's what they do. Like honestly, I don't know why this video wasn't released earlier. Like as soon as people started demanding it, that should have been Freedom of Information Act requested. Because
Exactly.
I
Even
feel
before he was arrested. Like he shouldn't have been arrested if we saw that video.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
like,
all
if I saw that-
intentional. The AG in Minneapolis is I forget his name already. He's the guy that held that Antifa handbook in a bookstore. Do you remember that picture? You've probably seen that, Alex.
Probably at one point, but it's been a while.
He's an Antifa sympathizer. My
What's his
theory.
position? AG, right?
What was that?
He's an AG.
I'm pretty. Yeah. He's the prosecutor. He's the AG. He's the guy that's
But
heading
you
up
heard
this
about
case.
George Soros putting certain people in place. Is he one of George Soros?
Oh, I bet he's got some Soros connections like a lot of these people. but he
Mm.
is the head prosecutor for this case, and he is again Keith Ellerson. There's his name. And Tucker says that it was deliberately withheld. I think it was 100% deliberately withheld because this guy believed withheld because it would totally fuck up the narrative. Because George Floyd was painted as this innocent guy, and look, even when this happened, like I thought to myself, like, look, regardless of the context, before, after, and all of it, yeah, the officer shouldn't have done this. But what is that context? Because that can totally change this case. And yeah, thank you, Ray, for Miss Keith Ellison. You guys nailed it. They deliberately withheld it because it doesn't fit their narrative. They wouldn't get the race riots. They wouldn't get Black Lives Matter out in the street. They wouldn't get all this crap that they think helps Joe Biden. Okay, it's all about the election. It's all about the pandemic. It's all about these things. Like, they know. Look, they always wheel out Black Lives Matter when it's convenient, when it's election season. So they had this George Floyd thing that was like gold. And it worked. And they deliberately withheld it. That's the simple fact as to why it wasn't, released soon. They withheld it. They didn't want people seeing that.
That cop needs to sue, and all the cops. They need to sue Minnesota. They need to sue the mainstream media. Like, they need to sue them for these lies.
Well, what's going to get crazy is that imagine if these cops get off. Imagine if they get acquitted. They
After
could.
watching that video, I think that's probably what's going to happen, because I did not see like the amount of chances they gave this guy to comply, and they were being very reasonable with him from what I've seen.
Very professional too.
Like, I honestly, I don't even think like some of these people, maybe they should have got some sort of, whoever sat on, like whoever, stood on his chest. Okay, that was bad, but I don't think that's murder bad. I'm thinking, he could be suspended. He could maybe even fire him, but I don't think
manslaughter.
I don't think manslaughter, honestly.
I think what's gonna happen is, like, murder's obviously gonna be charged against him, but I don't think he's gonna get the murder charge. He's probably gonna get some other shit that's bad. And look, that's the thing is, like, again, he shouldn't have put his knee on his neck. Like, that is totally uncalled for and ridiculous. I still don't even get why he really did it. But
if you see the video, this guy, he was refusing to go into the cop car. They had to do something with him. I don't think that was the smartest thing to go and do. And for all I know, that could have been what they ended up, like, that could have been the SOP or whatever for the police officers. I had to go and see their training documents because, I don't know if they had tasers. Maybe that would have worked. But with how messed up that guy was, I don't know if that would even work. Like, I don't even really see manslaughter. Like, I think what's going to happen is they're going to be getting off scot-free, and then you're going to see people still want to riot.
Dude, do you think these riots were bad we just had? Oh my god, it's going to be... Oh, and again, that's my conspiracy. It's like, what if that's the point of this? What if that's why they withheld it? Is number one, you get riots now before the election, and then when the cops get off, you get more riots.
Yeah, they're trying to go and make this into Rodney King, but you really can't compare those two events, because Rodney King was beaten, seconds after he got pulled out of the car like that. Like, that was uncalled for. This, I think there's better ways to do this, obviously, but I don't think this guy was being particularly, like, racist. I've seen white people get mistreated by police more than this guy has. I don't think they were trying to go and kill him. Honestly, I think they probably were not trained properly. Like, this is probably a training issue, but I don't think this was...
Well, and that's the thing. It's like, I don't think this cop was racist. I think he's probably a messed up dude in many ways because he has a history of police brutality. I think there's some issues with him for sure. It could be a sociopath or a psychopath. But when people are all jumping on, like, George Floyd was murdered, this cop murdered him. And I'm thinking, murder is when you have intent, the intention to kill. I don't know if this guy intended to kill him. I mean, I don't know what the fuck was going through his head because he keeps that, like, knee on his neck for so long. I mean,
you have to see how nuts this guy was acting too, and put that in context. Because I feel if they weren't trained properly to use tasers, they didn't have any sort of, like, I don't know what their training's like. Their training documents could have said this is how you subdue someone who's,
Yeah.
resisting arrest, because that's absolutely what George Floyd was doing. He was resisting arrest at that point.
Well, and I think that's what a lot of these problems come down to. It's not systematic racism. It's terrible training, and these cops are, trained poorly, and they're put in bad situations, and it all just becomes a big mess. And this shit rarely happens. Like, that's the thing people gotta keep in mind. I act like police brutality is like this fucking, like, epidemic. Literally,
Well,
when does it happen?
and here's the other thing too: is if it was a racism thing, he had two black people in the car with him who were not arrested. They weren't detained, anything. They they didn't even ask them if they had anything on them or nothing. So if this was a whole racist motive, then why did the other two black people get to go away? Scot free, get picked up and go wherever they needed to go.
Yeah. And the other thing, too, is that, and people are forgetting this, but Floyd and the cop were at some, like, club and they worked together or something. Like, that's just so weird that I wonder if there's some more personal connection here.
I mean, seeing the video, I wouldn't have known that they were friends or known of each other, not friends, until I saw the connections there. Like, I don't think, he acted in a way that was inappropriate, but I don't think it was unreasonably inappropriate for a probably undertrained police officer.
And if you think about it, I think that he took it kind of easy on Floyd. Maybe he took it easy on Floyd because he knew who he was.
Yeah, because honestly, they could have shot him when he refused to go and show his hands in the car. Like, honestly, that's what I probably would have thought would have happened. If these people were racist, they could have killed him a lot sooner than giving him so many chances. They walked him to the car. They tried to put him in there. He kept refusing to go into the police car. Not to mention the fact that he was, some sort of completely out there, and he was in a vehicle in a state of mind that was not conducive to safe driving.
Dude, George Floyd sounded like not Biden. He sounded like Biden. He's always like, "Come on, man, like, he's like Biden."
Like, he kept trying to go and talk to the officers, and like, he almost reminded you. Have you ever seen Shrek? Yeah. You ever seen like from Shrek? He kind of reminded me of, like, he was kind of talking like that. Like, he was just kept bullshitting with these officers and trying to go and change the subject. And I'm like, come on, dude.
Yeah.
If I was, I mean, to be fair, he was probably messed up out of his mind. It probably would have helped if they did have training to go and deal with that. But, it's not, I don't think this was malicious intent. I think something bad, they shouldn't have done that, but I don't think there was malicious intent originally going into it. I think they pinned him down because he was refusing to get into the vehicle, and I don't know if they were waiting for EMS to arrive or something, but I don't know. Like, they had to do something with him that probably wasn't the proper way to do it.
But he doesn't have any bruises, nothing from it, nothing.
He was calling he was doing that Chicken Little thing where it's like, I can't breathe, before there was any sort of restraint put on him.
Exactly.
Up. So, that's probably why, like, maybe when he said he couldn't breathe when he was on the floor, they didn't believe him, because he was saying that. And he also said he wasn't on any drugs too. So the police officers, maybe if he did say, hey, I'm high or something or whatever, maybe they would have done some different maneuvers. Maybe they would have known, hey, we need to be really careful. He said, he's messed up, but he was saying he wasn't messed up.
Yeah, I bet you they're friends beforehand, and how Floyd was talking, he probably knew he was on drugs, because he knows them personally. And if you know, like, you're someone personally and they're acting different, and they do drugs, you can tell the difference.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
so it's probably another reason why he took it easy on him.
Yeah, I honestly agree. Like, if you see this guy, you have, there's something wrong with him. Like, after hearing him talk, like, he was just going at like 1,000,000 miles a minute. It's a sad situation, but I think if this video got released earlier, there would have been a lot less deaths from these protests. Because I think the Breonna Taylor one, that one, 100% wrong. There was definitely some bad stuff taken with that, but this, I don't
even see that one. There's like, I'm not trying to defend the cops, but I've heard stuff that supposedly like the cops were warning the guy in the house, like, hey, put the gun down or don't point the gun at us, and he wouldn't comply or something. That's what the cops claim happened. It's like all these cases, it's not like cut and dry. I don't want to say that. I don't want to say because like the Michael Brown one was actually kind of cut and dry. The guy was trying to take his fucking gun, the cop's gun, and was beating up the cop, or he wasn't beating up the cop, but or did he? That was Trayvon. Trayvon was beating up Zimmerman, and
he wasn't a cop. He was the neighborhood watch.
Yeah, neighborhood watch. Yeah.
Up someone, but like who was that one girl who was like in the car and she had her license to carry and she complied with officers and she still ended up dead. Like that one was screwed up. And then wasn't a black one, but the like one officer who was called about the BB gun in the hotel room, he ended up like making these two guys do this like Simon Says like crawl across the floor thing. That was like really screwed up. Ended up like lighting the one guy up. Like I don't see how that I don't know why there wasn't like riots.
Was that the one you sent me that one time where it's like in a hotel hallway?
Yeah, like that one. Like honestly, if there's ever a place to go and like have serious protests like that one, I don't see why that wasn't like huge protests, because there is no reason he should have killed that guy. And that guy, he wasn't even charged with murder. He's still walking free. I think he got fired, but that guy should be behind bars because he just straight up murdered someone for doing this like sick game of Simon Says and failing. I had to go and look up what case that was, but like that one really makes me upset.
Yeah.
And then the like one girl who was like legally concealed carry, that one was upsetting, but they never protest with those ones. It's always these other ones where it's like there's nuance to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty messed up, like how they use these things always to just honestly make the country more racist. Like that's the sad thing is, it's like I've seen people say shit that they never said before and think in ways they never think before, and it's just like it's really sad. Like that's the greatest tragedy of all this, is just all the progress we made for, let's say, maybe the past 3 years has all been undone because of this, because of Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter has made the country more racist.
Yeah, I thought we were doing pretty good beforehand. Like before this, like
yeah.
We are, guys. Look, I'm the only black girl in this show with you guys, and we get along fantastic. I hang out with people all the time who are conservatives, and I went to go knock on their doors, and they didn't all ignore me. They opened the door, they offered me water, they gave me gifts. Like those are conservatives.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like they're just like this whole lie about the whole switch. It really irks me. And then someone just on Twitter just was like, "Oh, what's this guy's name? Thurgood or something. What's his name? Hold on,
Thurgood Marshall."
Yeah. Oh, well, he was racist. Know your history. And like, you do know that he was a Democrat first, right? And he purposely switched over to make it seem like there's a switch. Like he was a Democrat. And
I don't think it's somebody different then.
Yeah, and no one's saying that there's like never been racist people in America either. Like there definitely was, and there definitely still is. Like there's racist.
Yeah, we have a history, but where we're at today, we work together. We do things together. Like it doesn't matter what race you are. I went to college at Texas A&M, and I have tons and tons of pictures of me with people from multiple different countries. I have tons of pictures of people with white people, black people, people from Africa, the countries in Africa. I have pictures with people from Muslim countries. I have tons of friends from college who are different races. So I honestly also made fun of people in a way about like, if you believe in a God, right, and he created us, right, and we're so developed as human beings that we're arguing over skin color. That is ridiculous. It's so elementary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's sad because it's like now people are more prejudiced. Now people are more hostile. It's like it's the cancer of identity politics of dividing people up like this. It's like you start pitting people against each other, and it's.
I think I think they're trying to recreate the 1960s artificially.
Yeah.
I think you're
Mhm.
gonna start seeing, you're probably gonna see like another sort of weather underground organization take
It's called
place.
Antifa.
Yeah, but like, oh no, they're too decentralized. Like you're gonna see another like Black Panthers come up, bot like and another one. I was actually researching this the other day. Like, I don't even know how I got there. Like there was something I like fucking read about the Beatles, and it took me down this like rabbit hole and all these like really like radical left wing organizations in the '60s. It just like amazes me how we had like a serious domestic terrorism problem in the '60s. Like, and
Yeah.
there's still people. There's that like one woman who's from what I understand, like she's the sole like successor to like like the spiritual mother of what was it, Black Lives Matter or something, the one in like not Haiti but Cuba, who shot the police officers in like the New Jersey Turnpike.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember that.
Yeah, it's like bizarre. They have, it's like all these organizations, these are all in the '60s, and they did a lot of violence. They did a lot of just messed up stuff. And, it just kind of after like the mid '70s, they all just kind of either got arrested or died or, just ended their stuff. Like they had Bill Ayers, like the guy from Weather Underground. He went to
Mhm.
Penn State to give a speech.
Yeah.
Like I think it was my freshman year or something. He was invited over there because they gave him like a slap on the wrist, basically, from what I understand.
Can you imagine if somebody brought like? Oh, here's contrast actually, because it did happen. You can't bring Richard Spencer. That's condemned. That's banned. But you can bring Bill fucking Ayers, a terrorist.
Yeah, yeah, left wing terrorists. Like, how many right wing, like actual terrorist organizations are there even today? Right wing with air quotes, because most of these people aren't even actually right wing. Like, you can probably count them on your hand. How many left wing terrorist organizations are there like that have actually killed police officers in the United States?
Mm-hmm.
And like they've done so much more damage, they've caused so much more riots and lootings and all this other stuff. And like they're even reviving some of these organizations now too. They have like Students for Democratic Society. That was the one that evolved into the Weather Underground. They're reviving that.
Hmm.
Like they brought that back up. They're trying to get the Black Panthers. I think they're getting revived, or they already are revived. And it kind of bewilders me too. They named a Marvel character after like basically, from what I understand, like a terrorist organization.
Mm-hmm.
That's sort of what I've come to gather from that. Like it just, it's a very just bizarre world that we live in right now.
Yeah.
It has me scared because they want this violence. People on the left. It's the militant arm of the Democrat Party. A lot of
Yep.
these groups,
Yep.
and
It's
they're
a
and
foot soldiers.
the way they talk, because like I was reading this like Wikipedia articles, and like they say a lot of the same stuff that a lot of these radical organizations over here, like talk about. Like they were talking about like white privilege before the term white privilege existed. Like, and they were
Dude,
fighting against that.
there was a thing. I think I mentioned this briefly before. Then we got in the stream, but Tyreer had this homework assignment. I forget what it was for specifically, but it was for criminal justice class, and it was about the communists, like the Red Scare during the Cold War, and it had like the Communist Manifesto in there, like this is what communists believe, and it was literally line by line everything you hear from the left today, like everything. It was I'd known, like I've heard of gays, people are Marxists, yada yada, but when you see line by line, I need to find this thing. It is unbelievable. All the stuff about identity politics, the white, even like the white privilege, like you were saying, even the Black Lives Matter stuff. It's all in there. It's all been in the playbook from the fucking like whatever year that was.
Yeah, it's making resurgence now because I saw that it scared people, and they got what they wanted. These people didn't get punished for what they did, for the amount of bombings that the Weather Underground did. Like they were given all this immunity and stuff. You know, like, sure, like there absolutely was fucked up stuff during that time. You know, you had the Vietnam War, you still had a lot of like systemic racism in a lot of places, but you know, that does not excuse, you know, bombing innocent people. Like it's just disgusting, some of the stuff, and these people are still held up as like idols to the left. Like they've had, what was it, I think it was, they go and have this annual like Cuba thing where you go as like a student to harvest sugarcane in Cuba, like all, and they still do it. I think they just drive you to Mexico and then they go and take the fucking airplane from Mexico to Cuba. And like I think there's a Democrat senator or congressman or whatever from California, or congresswoman or state senate, and she participated in that. You know, straight up like anti-American activities, and these people were radicalized in Cuba. They were told to go and target Americans in Cuba, and how to go and wage a guerrilla war in Cuba. Like there was terrorist training grounds in Cuba, and that's and people still want us to go and be friendly with Cuba too. And I think that they need to go and pay for that. I think that the people, because it's not even just the one lady. There's another person who did similar like terrorism acts in the United States who's hiding out in Cuba, still at large, and people still want us to retain diplomatic relationships. I say no until they send those people to the United States.
I'll read this real quick. This is a congressional record of some of it. Says current communist goals. This is from 1963. Okay, a long fucking time ago. And these are the goals of the Communist Party. Capture one or both of the political parties in the United States. Oh, well, we know which one they got. Use technological decisions of the courts to weaken basic American institutions by claiming their activities violate civil rights. Hey, we've seen that. Get control of the schools, teachers, professors on campuses. Use them as transmission belts for socialism and current communist propaganda. Soften the curriculum. Get control of teachers' associations. Put the party line in textbooks. Revisionist history, guys. Gain control of all student newspapers. That wasn't hard. What was that?
Yeah, they've already done that.
Use student riots to foment public protests against programs or organizations which are under communist attack. March for Our Lives. Infiltrate the press. Get control of book review assignments, editorial writings, and policy-making positions. Gain control of key positions in radio, TV, and motion pictures. Hollywood, CNN, you name it, they're in it. Continue discrediting American culture by degrading all forms of artistic expression. So censorship, like we're seeing. An American communist cell was told to eliminate all good sculptures from parks, buildings, substitute shapeless, awkward, and meaningless forms. Yeah, that's
modern art.
Yeah, modern art. And seeing Black Lives Matter tear down all these statues recently. Control art critics and directors of art museums. Our plans to promote ugliness, repulsive, and meaningless art. Eliminate all laws governing obscenity by allowing them censorship and violation of free speech and free press. Break down cultural standards of morality by promoting pornography and obscenity in books, magazines, motion pictures, radio, and TV. Here's a big one. Present homosexuality, degeneracy, and promiscuity as normal, natural, and healthy. Infiltrate the churches and replace revealed religion with social religion. Discredit the Bible and emphasize the need for intellectual maturity, which does not need a religious crutch. Eliminate prayer or any phase of religious expression in the schools on the grounds they violate the principle of separation of church and state. Discredit the American Constitution by calling it inadequate, old-fashioned, out of step with modern needs, a hindrance to cooperation between nations on a worldwide basis. Discredit the American Founding Fathers. We fucking saw that a few weeks ago. Present them as selfish aristocrats who had no concern for common man. Belittle all forms of American culture and discourage teaching American history on the grounds it was only a minor part of the big picture. Gave more emphasis to Russian history since communists took over. Support any socialist movement. Give centralized control of any part of culture. Eliminate all laws or procedures which interfere with operations of communist apparatus. LOOMER's House Committee discredit and eventually dismantle the FBI. Hey, I agree with them on that one. Infiltrate and gain control of more unions. Infiltrate and get control of big business.
Yeah.
Here's
Heck
one.
yeah.
Transfer some of the powers of arrest from the police to social agencies. Isn't that what we're seeing now?
Oh yeah, Minnesota.
Yeah. So that's like and here's one more. We discredit the family as an institution, encourage promiscuity, and easy divorce.
Yeah.
I mean, I could go on and on. Oh, actually, I'm almost at the end of this. One of the other big things is emphasize the need to raise children away from the negative influence of parents. And the last one's create the impression that violence and insurrection are legitimate aspects of American tradition. The students and special interest groups should rise up and use united force, self-economic, political, and societal problems. Guys, I mean, can that be any more damning and any more spooky accurate as to what we're seeing now?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
And
why
I think people are seeing it, I think people are waking up from it. I think the silent majority is a lot bigger than what we think it is.
I kind of think so too, and that is Marxism, communism from 1963.
Do you have a link to that?
I can send it to you. But that we're going late on this stream. We're already almost at 2 hours 40 minutes. So thank you guys for tuning in. If anybody wants to plug anything, check out at Donnie Don on Twitter, at Verse News Media on Twitter. Please subscribe to the channel, click the sub button. I should have said that during the show a bit more. But follow these great people and subscribe to Donnie too on YouTube.
What's Alex handles? What are Alex's handles?
I don't really have.
He doesn't have handles. He is
I got
the
you.
handle.
He's a handler.
He handles me.
Yeah, I'll make a YouTube account. I'll make another YouTube at some point when I figure out how to go and use that fucking black magic.
Oh
Make
God.
a Twitter account. That's what I mainly focus on. Make a Twitter account.
I'd make a new one. I don't want to get doxxed.
Hunter Avlon has a new Twitter account run by his manager, and Hunter did a video on it, and he says the newly released body cam footage of George Floyd's horrific arrest changes nothing. It's unjustified murder.
Oh boy. Yeah, that guy. I don't know. Like he's taken off the deep end ever since he came to Penn State. He broke him.
Oops.
But remember this. Remember, I didn't take a stance on George being like wrongly murdered or any of that, right? But I did feel like it was staged. But I never was like, oh, the cop should go to prison. I never said that, oh, I never said anything because I feel like it wasn't enough information. There was a lot of things that didn't make sense. So to me, it looks. And then the fact that him saying I can't breathe and stuff beforehand,
it's almost
and him
too
saying,
good to be true.
Oh, yeah, or don't kill me, man. Don't kill me, man. Don't shoot me, man. Don't shoot me, man. Like, I'm just saying, I might still be kind of right, but still, I didn't make the mistakes that other people have made. They come back and said, okay, this is wrong still, but there's more information. I still think that the cop shouldn't, with the extra new evidence from the body cam, I feel like the cop shouldn't have gotten the scrutiny he gotten, and it should have been national news either.
Yeah. Hey, Donnie, Kevin wants your YouTube channel if you have one. I don't know if you got one yet.
I do. It's the same as Donnie the Don or Donnie. No, it's Donnie the Don.
Someone put that somewhere so he can subscribe. He's good.
It's on my Twitter account. The link is on my Twitter account in my bio.
Yep. Right. Well, that's all we have for today. We're probably about to fall asleep here, so thank you guys for tuning in. And as always, wash your bloody hands.
Yeah. All right. Take it easy, folks.